So, peace be upon all of you, my dear brothers and sisters. Hello, this is our fifth session. Inshallah, this is module 3. Do you hear me well, all of you? Just
Okay.
assure me that you hear me,
Just
right?
please.
Thank God. All of you. It has been ages since I last saw you. I miss you so much. How are you doing first? Everything is okay? Everything is okay? All right. So, this is our fifth session. Please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves because there is a lot of background noise here. Mute yourselves. Welcome to the fifth session. This is the third module, understanding language and practice activities. Do you see the slide? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, as I've just said, understanding language practice activities. I just want to say Happy New Year, Happy 2022 to all of you. I wish you all the best for the new year.
There's something wrong on the voice,
Okay, you can
Marwa.
oh,
I can't hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me well now? Can you hear me, my brothers and sisters? Is the voice clear?
Yes, I can. I
Yes.
can hear
Yes.
you now. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank God. Hallelujah, Alhamdulillah. Okay. Let's start with just saying Happy New Year all. Please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves because there is a lot of background noise. Mute yourself. Thank you so much. Happy New Year and happy 2022. I wish you all the best in this new year, and that I hope that you all achieve your every dream you have. Okay. I wish you all the best. So let's start by reading about the learning objectives of the module. Just me a second to share the slide here. The objectives of the module, which is practice activities. Actually, today the content of the module is very intensive, so you have to concentrate very well because it's a little bit long and we have 3 hour session with a break in between, a 10-minute break. Can you see the slide on the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the learning. Okay, I'll start by reading the learning outcomes of the module. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the skills and or the language that different activities practice. So we have some practice activities that practice certain skills of the language, maybe reading, writing, listening, or whatever, etc. From the skills that you know of the English language or language that different activities practice. Language means the vocabulary, the pronunciation, the grammatical rules, etc. So today we are going to study some practice activities that concentrate on the skills of the language or some language items or areas like vocab, pronunciation, grammar, etc. Secondly, by the end of this module, you will be able to recognize how some activities are flexible and can be adapted. You can change them, you can adjust them or change them a little bit to suit the different levels and ages of your learners. Okay, so today we are going to study that some activities are flexible and you can adapt them to suit the teaching context as a whole, the needs of your learners, the levels of your learners, the high level learners, learners who are weak, so they are low achievers. Okay, young learners and old ones, so different ages again. Okay, so today we are going to study all these issues. And number 3, we are going to study, we should be able to choose language practice activities which correspond to learning outcomes. We should learn how to use the activities that are suitable for or appropriate to my learning outcomes. I have an outcome in my lesson today, so I want to know to achieve a certain target today. So I choose the activities that best suit these learning outcomes and meet them, and are my way of achieving these outcomes. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the fifth or the fourth learning outcome today of this module is that you will be able to you justify means to say to cite the reasons, to know the reasons for, okay, to justify your choices of practice activities when lesson planning. This means that when you are preparing for a lesson or planning a lesson, you should know why you are using that certain practice activity, not the others. Okay, you should know the reason, the purpose behind using this kind of activity and not any other activities. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes that we are trying to achieve today in this very long session. I will call it because it's some kind of intensive, and it needs concentration because you are supposed to be exposed to different and actually a big number of activities. I guess 15 practice activities that we will try to explain and understand and know how to apply them and know about learn about the merits and demerits of each kind of practice activity, when to use it, with which level of my students, with which objectives or ages or whatever. All right, I hope that this is clear. Let's move on to the next slide here. Just a minute. We will start by, some kind of brainstorming. I need you to think of the different practice activities. I need you to provide me with as much, just a minute, as many activities or practice activities as you can. Okay? What are the kind of activities that you know or even use inside your classrooms if you can see the slide? Write in the chat box as many activities you know or practice inside your classrooms as possible. So write in the chat box now, and I'll read about them, and I'll read your answers in the chat box. I'm waiting for you. The types of practice activities, the activities that you practice inside your classrooms. Can you hear me, guys? Discussion, yeah, this is one thing. Okay, good. Brainstorming, very good. What we are doing now is brainstorming, actually. We are doing brainstorming now. Jigsaw reading, I'll go to the chat box, but the slide will go, but no problem. Okay, jigsaw, role play, review. Review, what is review, Mr. Abdul Manam? Review, is it a kind of activity? Review is revising, like a revision. I need activities that we practice inside our classrooms that have steps, that sort of thing. Singing, yeah, yeah, Miss Amira, this is songs. Yeah, Miss Hiba Saleh, discussion, very good. Chain stories, Miss Samah, very good. This is a good choice today, and we will study it at large. Chain story, very good. Chain stories, discussion, singing, role play. Well done, Miss Fatma. We will study all these kinds of activities today, inshallah. Group work. Group work is not an activity, Mr. Ayman. It's just a strategy, working in groups, because group work can be applied in all these activities. We can make or apply these activities in a group way, in a cooperative learning using groups. So in all these activities, we can divide our learners into groups. So group work is some kind of strategies that we can apply in all the activities. Okay, problem solving. This is a way of thinking, Mr. Isam. Problem solving is a way of thinking. So I give them this activity because it concentrates on problem solving and it enhances the critical thinking and how to solve the problems. Okay, this is not an activity, it's just a strategy or a way to get your students think. Okay, puzzle, very good. Puzzle, Miss Amira, very good. Mappings, mind mappings, Mr. Abdelmanem, very good. We are going to study this today. Puzzle, dialogues. Thank you so much. Lots and lots of kinds of activities. Well done. You are doing a great job. Thank you so much. You are, Miss Dua, you are raising your hand. Just type in the chat box if you have something to add because we are still starting the session together. When you have lots and lots to say, don't worry, you will speak as much as you can today. Mr. Mahsoun, thank you so much. You'll study them, inshallah, today. So look at the slide on the screen here. Look at the slide on the screen here. We have 5 statements, and we have now to read every statement, and we discuss it together, and you tell me if you agree with it or not. You find it true or false. You agree with it or not. So let's read the first one. Assure me first, do you see the slide clearly? Can you see the slide clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Miss Marwa.
Okay, thanks. Thank Allah. Thank Allah. Okay, the first one is there are some activities that my learners love, so I tend to use them over and over again. There are some activities that my learners love, so I tend to use them over and over again. This teacher says that my learners love certain activities, so he is using them all the time in every lesson and every class. He just tends to use them, and that's all. Only those kinds of activities, just merely because his learners love them. They prefer to practice them. Is this the only way that we have to consider when we try to practice activities inside our classrooms? Just because our learners tend to love them, so I tend to use them over and over again? What's your
No,
opinion?
no.
No? Okay, go ahead. Who is speaking?
Okay, Miss Samah.
Mr. Mah, go ahead. Unmute
Uh,
and go.
I should I should differentiate my activities every lesson with every lesson and which suitable to the age I teach to.
Very good. Very good. Thank
Every
you so
lesson
much.
has every lesson has its suitable activities.
Very good. Thank you so much. So you have to consider the fact that the activities should suit the learning objectives, okay, of the lesson. So the actually okay, this is probably true for most teachers. We all want our learners to enjoy the lessons, okay? But most groups have their favorites, which we sometimes do as a reward for good behavior or have hard work. But at the same time, we need to be aware that different activity types have different underlying purposes, and that the activities we choose ought to correspond and meet our lesson outcomes. So the activities I choose have to meet and correspond to the learning objectives, okay, to achieve the objectives. So let's move on to sentence number 2. Some activities are really versatile. Versatile means the activities have different uses. They can be used for different purposes, for practicing different skills and different language areas. So the activities are versatile or versatile. You can even pronounce it in either ways. It's American and British English, versatile or versatile. So some activities are really versatile in American English accent because I pronounce it. Some activities are really versatile. For example, find someone who, this is a kind of activity that we will study today, by the way. I can use that to practice any language. The teacher here in this statement says that some activities are used for many purposes. They have different uses and many, many uses, like find someone who and many other activities. Okay, so I use this kind of activities like find someone who and the others, which are versatile, to practice any language. Is this true according to your viewpoint? Think a little bit and tell me about it. Do you agree that we have some versatile activities that we can use to practice any language we need? True or false? Think a little bit. I'm waiting for your answers. Guys, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Miss
Yes, Miss
Marwa.
Marwa.
Yes,
Okay, do you agree with the statement? Maybe you don't know about it? Yeah, okay. If you don't know about it, I can tell you the answer. Yeah, we have some activities that are really versatile. Yeah, that have many uses. Of course, we have a lot of activities that have many uses, which we are going to study today. For example, there is an somebody wants to say something. Okay, so for example, find someone who this is a kind of activity that we can use to practice any language because it is used. I haven't explained it, by the way. Sorry. Sorry. Please mute yourselves, my colleagues. Please mute yourselves because some people are speaking in the background. Okay, so I was just saying that the activity which is called find someone who is versatile and we can use it to practice any language, like all the grammatical tenses. The tenses, all of the tenses we can practice by the use of the activity which is called find someone who. And don't worry, we will study it at large in the coming activities, inshallah. So it's true that find someone who can be used to practice a range of language. There are other activities which can also be adapted in this way, such as dictogloss, which we will study today, role play, and jigsaw. We will study all these activities today, inshallah. During this module, you will be introduced to these activities as I've just said. Today, inshallah, you will be studying them. So let's move on to the third statement on the slide here if you see it clearly. The teacher says, in the textbook we use, in the book we are teaching for our students, every unit tends to use the same activities. So there is always a true false activity, then a matching activity, a dialogue, and a writing task. And this is actually a bit boring. It's monotonous. It's boring for my students because the book is structured the same way every unit, the same activities. Do you think that this statement is true? Do you agree with it? Is it boring to
Yes, we
have the
are
same?
agree.
Yeah, go ahead, Miss Heba. If you have something to say, you all agree. Okay, any other
Yes, it's
participant?
a boring.
Yeah. hmm It's boring.
Yes,
It's
it's
boring.
boring
So,
for students to study the same language in the units.
mhm. That's I agree with you. Actually, this is true. Okay, it's true that sometimes every unit of a textbook follows a predictable pattern. So the pattern is predictable. Okay, and that while this can be reassuring for the teacher and learners, يعني although this is comfortable maybe for me as a teacher and for my learners because they are familiar with the kinds of activities and they are familiar with the instructions and they know well how to apply it and how to do the exercise. Okay, it's good, but it can also be monotonous. It's boring. If we know of other activities, we can introduce these activities that we know other than the ones in the book instead when appropriate, when we find that they are appropriate, for example. Or we can adapt and change and adjust and modify the textbook activities to add variation to the lessons. Okay, so yeah, this is boring. So we have to maybe change the activities a little bit, modify them, um, maybe use new kinds of activities that are a little bit enjoyable and fun for my students. Okay, so that they are not bored. So let's move on to statement number 4. Here the teacher says, I wish I had more activities up my sleeve so I don't have to keep using the same ones. The teacher says that he wishes that he has lots of activities in hand. I mean, plan B, a bank of activities, a bank of other activities. Okay, so that he uses them, so that he doesn't use the same traditional ones. He wishes that. So, do you agree with this teacher? Do you find that this statement is true? Do you agree with it?
Of course, we agree with it.
Okay, go ahead. Who is it?
Miss Farah
Introduce.
Hassanin. Excuse me, Miss Marwa.
Okay.
The internet connections is not available all the time. There is
Uh,
some disconnections with my
I,
connection.
I have to tell you, and I told your colleagues on the WhatsApp group that today's connection is very bad with, I guess, yeah, mostly Vodafone. So I myself changed the line, I changed the package of internet. I did lots and lots of things to be here today. So there is
Uh,
internet bad connection today, actually.
yeah.
You have to find alternatives. You have to find alternatives in hand.
No,
Like
I
the
am
idea.
not at home.
Okay.
I'm not at home. I'm traveling, by the way. I'm in the car and I use internet connection related to Vodafone in network.
That's the reason actually behind the bad connection. We are all having bad connection today, so we're trying to follow as much as we can, and of course the session is recorded, but inshallah things be better with time, inshallah. I hope that. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Miss Huda. You were trying to discuss the statement. Go ahead. I hear you, by the way.
Okay, all of us, of course, hope that wishes that all of us wish that we have variety in activities, and we are not. We use new activities which are not traditional.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I
that's it.
think that
Mhm.
the new correct new books have this kind of activities. They are not traditional all the time. We
Yeah.
have conversation, for
Mhm.
example. We have new topics, for
And
example, bowling and so
okay.
on. Okay, so the topic itself makes you try to find the variety in activities.
Yeah.
Do you follow? You understand me?
Yeah, I'm following you actually. Yeah, I can hear you well. Actually, your voice is clear, by the way. Very good. That's it. That's the idea of the statement. As teachers, we do tend to collect as many activities as we can, and you know, we are always on the lookout for new ideas. We search all the time for new ideas. There is nothing wrong with this. But introducing new and fun activities at all the time, doesn't guarantee effective teaching and learning. Okay, we shouldn't. Okay, it's effective to use a variety of activities, but not all the time, by the way. Not all the time having new activities and every lesson having new activities. No, you should have a variety, but not all the time. We need to consider the suitability and effectiveness of activities in achieving learning outcomes, not just their novelty value. Yani, I'm not just using them because they are new. I should also take care
Okay,
of that.
so we are not after new things. We are after the outcomes of learning. What
That's
serve the outcomes of learning? We are after it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Very good. That's it. I agree with you. We are not using them because they are traditional. No, we are not using them because they are just new. Of course not. We use them whenever we need them. Whenever we find them that they are appropriate to the lesson, that they suit my learning objectives, they suit the teaching context, the environment, the levels of learners, the ages, all these things I have to consider. These are the factors that I have to take into my consideration when I am trying to choose some kind of activities to practice inside my classrooms. Okay, thank you so much. Let's move on to statement number 5. The teacher in this statement says, I don't really think about the merits or shortcomings of an activity if the learners are having fun. That's the main thing. So this teacher doesn't look at the merits or demerits. He means the advantages or disadvantages of the activity. All what he cares about is that students have fun. So that's the main thing for this kind of teacher. Do you agree with this?
Of,
Yeah,
of course, I agree with it. Of course, because
you
we are after the outcome of learning. So if the outcome eh, is achieving, so what the matter? It doesn't matter what activity I use.
Okay, but he doesn't say this in the statement. The teacher says that he doesn't look at the merits or the demerits of the activity uh, um, if his students are having fun. The main thing for
Okay.
this teacher,
What about the outcome of learning?
he
Okay.
doesn't speak about the
He
outcome.
ignores him. He ignores
Yeah,
the outcome of learning. No, of
yeah.
course. They should
This
go hand
that
in hand. The outcomes of learning with we should they should go hand in hand. Outcomes of learning and the fun and the activity. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you disagree with the statement actually, because this teacher says that what he cares about is having fun,
Having
not
fun. That learning, having fun. Yeah, yes. What about the outcomes and his objectives? He should
yeah,
achieve his
yeah,
objectives through
yeah.
activities.
That's it. Yeah, it's important, by the way, also to have fun doing the activities, because activities are fun and enjoyable. Okay, when they are fun and enjoyable, somebody says that he can't hear me. Can you hear me, guys? All the others?
Yes,
Yes,
Miss Mark.
miss.
Well,
Yes,
Yes,
miss.
your voice is
okay.
clear.
So our colleague who doesn't manage to hear us, there is a bad connection today. You can't hear me because there is a bad connection. So you have to search for alternatives and find solutions to this problem. Try to fix this as fast as possible, because today is actually a very important session, having this huge number of activities which we will be required to practice inside our classrooms. We have to apply this in our classrooms. Okay, so if I ask you about, from all these statements, what are the factors that I have to consider when I am choosing the activities of practice inside my classroom? What are the factors according to the 5 statements that we have just discussed together? The elements that
Okay,
I
Miss
have to
Mara, I
consider.
think that
Okay, miss. Okay, Miss Marwa.
Okay, another, yeah. Who is it?
Miss
Another
Samah.
participant. Miss
Miss
Samah, go
Samah.
ahead. Okay,
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 I think the most important factors to consider when choosing activities, number one, the level of the students. Number two, the
yeah,
learning outcomes. Number
very
three,
good,
the age of the student.
very good, very good. I agree with you. What else? There is something else. What else? Okay, it's a great answer,
also,
actually. Yeah,
mm,
yeah, Mr. Abdul Majid, go ahead. Mr. Abdul Majid, you're raising your hand. Go ahead. I can hear you. Unmute yourself and speak.
The individual differences.
Very good. Great answer. Thank you so much. This has to do with the levels, by the way. So we have high achievers, high level learners, and we have low level learners, which are who are weak learners. Okay, so this has to do with the individual differences. Again, this has to do with the levels of my learners. What else? What about the resources
Yes,
inside my
Marwa.
classrooms? Yeah. Go ahead. Who is it? Miss Heba?
Ayo, yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
activities that useful for your learners.
Yeah.
That
Useful? What do you mean by useful?
useful and achieve fun in the same way.
Okay, you mean that the activities are fun and enjoyable for my students, so
Yes,
that to get my students involved, and so that I can integrate them in my on the whole process of teaching learning. Thank you
yes.
very much. That's
Consider
great.
the age of the students.
Sorry.
Consider the kind of activity to the students.
Mm-hmm. They have to be appropriate and suitable. Okay. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Very good. That's it. So let's move on now to be exposed to different kinds of activities. Different kinds of activities today. You have to bear us today. Long and long explanation, and you have to participate with your experiences and opinions from your teaching inside classrooms. So just a minute. I'm trying to show the slide here. We will study lots and lots of activities, but activities which are fun and enjoyable and flexible and everything. Okay, can you see the slide before your eyes? Can you see it? Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Ma'am.
miss.
Yes.
Okay, hallelujah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we are going to look at some activities, and the first one here is the puzzle. It's called puzzles, it's called riddles, it's called guessing games, maybe. So we are going to study uh, what these kinds of activities are, how we can set them up inside our classrooms, how can we apply them, and to which purpose, maybe when to use them with which kind of learners. Okay, that sort of thing. So let's start with puzzles. uh, so let's have a look at these activities together, and so that we can use inside our classrooms. Actually, you have to know that all of these activities that I will explain to you can be used to practice different language points, whether grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and so on. So the first activity, as I've just said many times, is puzzles or guessing games or riddles. It's the same title, by the way, the same name. These types of activities are really nice to make your students use their high order thinking skills. This kind of activity, which is puzzle, is used to practice high order thinking skills. What are high order thinking skills, and what are low order thinking skills according to Bloom's taxonomy? If you have studied psychology in the Faculty of Education, for example, what are the hots and lots? The high order thinking activity, مش activity, sorry, it's high order thinking skills. What are these skills? The HOTS, the high order thinking skills, the HOTS.
Uh, I think understanding, application. Okay.
Mhm.
Is it understanding,
Yeah,
application,
yeah,
thinking?
yeah,
Uh,
those things, those things. What are the high order thinking skills of those, and what are the low order thinking skills of those? Huh? Which of them are HOTS and which of them are LOTS? Because today we are going to study those who concentrate on the HOTS, on the high order thinking skills. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Of course, most of the activities in the book actually concentrate on remembering, okay,
mm,
knowing, applying, and these are the low order thinking skills. The low order thinking skills, okay, they are at the bottom of Bloom's taxonomy. They are not, they don't get my students to use the mind. So
mm,
when I'm explaining, for example, grammar, so I want my students to know the rule, to remember the rule, to apply the rule, and that's all. No, today we are not going to do this. Today we are going to practice on the high order thinking skills, the HOTS, in other words, the HOTS, which are analyzing, evaluating, creating solutions. I mean, using the mind. Okay, so why that's why they are called high order thinking skills. So puzzles, I haven't said anything about them. I'm just still trying to tell you that this kind of activity uses gets my students to use their high order thinking skills, to make them use analyzing, to make them use evaluating and creating solutions. Okay, these activities work really well as lead ins or warm ups. When I'm just trying to, for example, to start, I can, for example, if I'm teaching a lesson, for example, for my learners about food, so I can start with a guessing game about food. Okay, so you can start with Allah Lazim Alhamdulillah. Allah is great. You can start with a guessing game to get them interested in the lesson. And it would be wonderful if the puzzles are related to the topic of the lesson and relevant to it. For example, if you are doing a lesson about food, as I've just said, why don't you start with a riddle about food? And I'll give you an example. I will ask my students, hey, my students, what's something that we can't use until it is broken? Think, ask me yes no questions. Try to think and use your mind. What is something that we can't use, we cannot use until it is broken? So the answer is an egg. An egg. We can't use an egg unless it is broken, right? So
Yeah.
it makes the students kind of like think and use their brain instead of memorizing and looking at the book. So it's good for practicing question forms also, because when I give my students a puzzle, they can practice yes no questions. They have to uh, ask me yes no questions in order to try to find the answer or a solution to this puzzle. Like for example, when I tell my students, oh my dear students, I'm thinking of a celebrity. I have a celebrity in my mind. I mean, a famous person, a name of a famous person, a VIP. It's called a celebrity. I'm thinking of a celebrity. I have a celebrity in my mind. So students ask me yes no questions like, is this person a female? Is this person a male? Is this person a scientist? Is he a singer? And so on. So they practice using yes no questions, and they think and they use their brain. Okay? Again, puzzles are like math problems that you introduce to your students and they find what happened in this situation. So here is one on the slide. If you have a look at it, here is one that you will find an answer and tell me in the chat box about the answer. But please, please, people who have looked ahead, people who have prepared and maybe studied somewhere in some booklets and have the answer to this puzzle, don't please write the answer. Okay, we will think of it. We will practice the puzzle together, but people who know the answer, who know the answer that is the model answer that it is written in the trainer's book, please don't write it. Think of other solutions. So let's read the puzzle together. A man lives on the 12th floor of a block of flats. He lives on the 12th floor of a block of flats. Every morning he gets up and takes the lift. He takes the elevator, الأسانسير, okay, the elevator to the ground floor, okay, in order to go to work. He gets out of the lift and goes to work. It's okay, no problem with him. Nothing happens. Okay. Every evening when he comes back home from work, he takes the lift to the 8th floor only and walks to the 12th floor. Why does he do this? Think of an answer and write in the chat box. Why does he take the elevator or the lift when he gets out in the morning to go to work and everything is okay? But when he comes back in the evening, he just takes the lift to the 8th floor only and walks to the 12th floor. He walks, he climbs the stairs, okay? He doesn't use the elevator after the 8th floor. Why? Why do you think? Think a little bit and try to find an answer. And of course, you can ask me yes, no questions. This puzzle is for you. Enjoy it. Think a little bit. People who know the answer, who know the model answer, please don't say anything. Give me other solutions and I will tell you about it later on, inshallah. Now, think a little bit. Do you hear me well? Is my voice clear? Hello?
Yes, miss, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Miss
Why
Mark.
didn't it? Okay, Alhamdulillah. Hallelujah. Think a little bit. Think of an answer to this puzzle. Ask me yes, no questions. Go ahead. I'm the teacher and you're the
Yes, Miss
learner.
Marwa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Can I
Who
ask a
is
question?
Yeah, go ahead. Who
Samir.
is it? Mr.
Yes.
Samir, hello.
Yes. Excuse me. Does he have another work in the S floor? Does he
Maybe
have another work?
you can guess. He lives
Oh,
on the 12th floor. He works on the 12th floor and he goes to work
yeah.
out of the
I
whole
think
floor.
he had another. I think he has another work in the its floor.
Good guess. Actually, this is a good answer. Thank you so much. Very good. A good solution. Yeah, he may have another work. He may work at the 8th floor, for example, or the 9th floor. He stops at the 8th floor to continue to have some work, some another job maybe. Okay, very good. What
Yes,
else?
Miss Marwa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Who is
Miss
it?
Marwa.
Yeah, a male,
Muhammad.
a male
Miss Hiba?
Mr. Muhammad. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, does he deliver anything to the eighth floor? Something he
Maybe, yeah,
can deliver firstly to the eighth
maybe,
floor?
maybe he delivers something to someone in the eighth floor. Maybe, very good. That's a good thing. A
Yes.
good answer, a good guess. Very good. Thank you so much. Miss Hiba wants to say something. I
I
would.
think he has a flat
He has another
in eighth floor and 12th floor. He may visit his parents in eighth floor.
excellent answer. I love this answer. Maybe he has some relatives on the eighth floor and he has to check on them when he was back from work and he has to say good night, mom, good night, dad, how you doing? That's it.
Yes.
Maybe they are on the eighth floor. Very good, Miss Heba. Thank you so much.
Okay, Miss,
Someone is
maybe.
raising. Yeah.
Okay, Miss, maybe he's trying to practice some kind of sports, walking. He wants to. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
do this, by the way. I do this when I am coming, when I go to work, I use the elevator because I'm late. But when I go back to from work, I walk on the
From
stairs.
home. Okay.
This
From
is because
work
I
to.
I do it
Yeah.
myself, by the way.
Actually, a good answer, and I like it. I like it very much. A good answer, a good guess. Thank you so much. I like it. Who else? What else? I guess
Yes,
Mr.
Miss Marwa.
Abdul was ready. Yeah, who is it?
I think
Mr.
he
Muhammad.
may have a wife on
Mr.
the.
Abdul speaking. Yeah.
I think he may have another wife at
Oh,
the eighth floor.
oh my God. This is an excellent idea, actually, and a funny one, actually. Yeah, he may have another some time and go there.
Yes, Miss Marwa.
You're a, you are a man. You are a man. This answer comes from a man, of course. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Majid. Okay, who is it? Somebody wants to say
Mr. Muhammad.
something? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Mr. Muhammad, go ahead.
Does he do that as a kind of exercise? As a kind of exercise?
Yeah, our colleague Miss Hoda said that she does this every day, maybe when she's going to work, having
Sorry, I didn't hear him.
actually. Okay, don't worry, that's great. They are actually wonderful. So the correct answer is that for your for your I mean you will be surprised to know that he is too short to reach the bottom of the eighth floor. So when he is going out in the morning, he just has to reach the bottom of the ground floor, which is near to him. It's close to him. It's easy for him to reach. But when he's coming back from work at the evening, he has to reach the 12th floor bottom, which is high and difficult for him to reach because he is short, and he just reaches the lift and tries to climb the stairs instead. This is a funny, actually, solution here, a funny answer, but I liked your answer, your answers more than that. Okay, the model answer we have is really. Thank you very much. How you introduce the puzzle in your classes. They are you use your mind and you get your students to discuss. Okay, and this is you can use it as a warm up or a lead in before you have the teaching process. Okay, before you start teaching, start your lesson by like this, having the puzzle or a riddle or a guessing game. Okay, is that clear? Okay, let's move on to another activity, which is word categories. We can call it also word categories. Okay, just a minute. I'm trying to show the slide here. I'm very sad that some of our colleagues haven't attended today because they have bad connection, and I told them to find alternatives, but they were, I guess, trying to fix the problem, trying to work on this. Let's see first how many are we? Just a minute. How many participants we are? 25. Good. Good. Thank God we are. Okay, that's good. On to the second activity, which is I'll show you the slide here and try to be well acquainted with set it up inside our classrooms and that sort of thing. Give me a second. Word categories, we call it categories or categories as you like. So can you see the slide on the screen before your eyes? Can you see it? Assure me just because of the connection. I have to make sure. Can you
Yes.
see the slide?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Yes, Mark.
Okay. Okay. Thank Allah. Okay. So categories. Word category. If you give your students some cards having some words and you want them to classify these word cards, maybe to classify them if you are talking about grammar, for example, if the lesson you are teaching is grammar, so you give your students some cards. Okay, you hand them some cards. These cards have words on them, so they have to classify them, for example, to put all the nouns together if you are doing grammar, to if you are doing, okay, so if you are doing grammar, they can classify the words on the cards, putting the nouns together, putting the adjectives together, putting the adverbs together like this. Okay, somebody says that he can't hear me well. Guys, can you hear me well? Is my
Yes.
voice clear? So
Yes.
again,
Yes, it's
my
clear.
dear colleague, you can't hear me. You have a bad connection or a problem with the internet. Okay, so try to find an alternative. Maybe leave the meeting and join again. Maybe find a better connection. Maybe use another device. Try to fix the problem. Important actually session and long one. They are two sessions in one. Okay, so go ahead, Mr. Abdelmajid, maybe. Who is raising his hand? If you want to say anything, just unmute and speak. Don't worry.
Marwa,
Yeah,
Ali,
yeah, Mister. Go ahead.
nobody
Yeah, go
wants
ahead.
to. Ali, I'm with you.
Yeah, Mr. Ali, go ahead. What's the problem?
No, no problem. I want to say nobody wants to spend all the time doing the same kind of thing.
Of
Uh,
activities?
yes,
Of course. So you have to practice varieties of activities, different ones, new ones that are more enjoyable and interesting. That's the
yes.
idea of the. Mm. Go ahead, express yourself. Don't worry.
Nobody wants to spend all the time doing the same kinds of thing over again, and our
Hmm.
learners are no different.
Yeah,
What we crave is variety. It's important to supply some. On the other
very
hand, activities
good.
types need to match their purposes, so variety alone isn't enough. If we focus only one variety, we will end up getting learners to do things for the sake for rather than because it leads to some kinds of learning outcomes.
That's it. I agree with you. Yeah, that's the idea of the module actually, that we have to consider elements and criteria and factors when we are trying to choose the practice activities. They have to suit the learning outcomes, the levels and ages of my students, the needs of my students, of course, the time I have, the resources I have in my classroom. Okay, all these are factors that I have to take into consideration when I am trying to choose the kind of activity. Not all the time using them because they are just new or maybe because they are traditional and we are familiar with them. Not also just because they are fun and enjoyable. No, interesting. No, not only one element. No, they have to suit the learning outcomes. Okay. So thank you so much. This is the idea of the module. You put your hand on the idea of the module today. So Back to the word categories, I was saying that if you are explaining grammar, the lesson is grammar. So you can give your learners some cards having some words, and you have to tell them, oh, my learners, classify these words or these cards, putting the nouns together, the adjectives together, the adverbs together, the modal verbs together, the past simple tense verbs together, for example. So this is if I'm teaching grammar, for example. Okay, I give them the cards and divide them into groups, and they discuss to classify the words into the right category. Okay, that has to do with my lesson, of course, like the example here in the on the slide. So if I'm doing pronunciation, for example, so I ask my students to put the words that cover word stress together, the ones that have the words that have the schwa sound together. Okay, like this. If, for example, I'm explaining vocabulary, so I tell my students, please put all food vocab together, the shopping vocab together, and so on. So you can use it for lots and lots of different language topics and issues. So I have to tell you now, my dear colleagues, do you usually use word categories on your classes? Yes or no? Please type in the chat box or say it on the mic.
Okay, Miss, I think it depends on the age of the learners. I think.
Depends on the age of the learners. I have to tell you that, by the way, you can adapt the activity. Of course, that the content differs from age to age. There is a simple content that suits young learners. Okay, and there
Okay,
is
for example, if I
Mhm. Go ahead.
for example, if I'm explaining past symbol, I ask student in the secondary stage to talk about a situation, a story that they read about in the past. Okay, I don't use this activity. In fact,
Okay, so yeah, so you
how can
don't use the
okay, I
yeah.
think it's more suitable for their age to ask about past experience. Sorry, to talk about past experience, something that happens in the past. Okay, so this is suitable for their age in order to
Yeah.
reduce as many language in the past simple as they can, and so I can evaluate how they are good at this symbol. Sorry, at this tense. In fact.
You have to know, by the way, I of course I like your answer because you are the person who experienced this. You have the experience inside your classroom, and you know what suits well the young learners and what suits the old learners, of course. But I have to tell you that you can adjust it. Of course, you may be explaining grammar, and you are speaking about nouns. Why don't you give them cards, put on it words, okay, nouns, and adjectives and adverbs, and you divide your students into groups, and you tell them, my students, can you put the nouns together, so that you are sure that they know what nouns are, and can you put the adjectives together, the ones that have adjectives together in one classification, so you make sure that they know the adjectives, what are adjectives. Okay, like this. That's the use of this activity, actually. And you can, of course, adapt it like actually it suits many ages and levels, by the way. Okay, these activities are flexible. You can use them differently, you can change them and modify them. Okay, so
Okay, we
I
can use
know
this
that.
in synonyms, antonyms. Yes, we can use, yeah, okay.
Look
But I
look how.
think in grammar,
Yeah. Hmm.
I can use them in synonyms, antonyms, okay, idioms. But in
Yeah.
grammar, I think in grammar that needs memorization. And for example, I know,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
think.
think
Hmm. You mean you don't
it's
Miss,
use
more
it?
suitable.
Yeah. You use it whenever possible. You use it whenever suitable for your learners. Okay, it's up to you. You're the leader, and you're the one who decides according to the things that suit your learners, their abilities, the levels, the ages, that sort of thing. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Hoda. Thank you so much. That was helpful, actually. So I have to tell you, that if you are following me well, I have to tell you that this activity needs a lot of preparation time. Preparing the cards, cutting them down. Yes, lots of work, but once you have them, save them so that you can use them with other classes or the next year maybe and so on. So you will do it only once, then you will keep using it for the future. Okay, so do you use it? Does any one of you use it in classroom again? Hey,
Yes,
Majid.
Miss Marwa.
Miss Amira, go ahead. You use it.
Uh, I use it uh, like, for example, make and do for the first country school. Make and do and take some specific words, make mistakes, make a promise, just like that.
I don't,
I write.
mhm. I don't
Can you hear me
understand.
well?
Clarify how
I
you
use,
use it. Mhm.
for example, I plan two specific cards. Make, do. Okay, they take very specific words in the first country school, like make a promise, make a
Yeah.
project, and
Yeah.
so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Collocations.
I
You,
give
you mean? Yeah, this is called
uh,
collocations. The chunks.
I give them all the cards and make do. Who has the words with make? Who has the word with do? And so like that.
Okay, very good. I will tell you about it. I will tell you about it. You just give them cards with words that go with the verb make, okay? And you give them cards having words that go with do. And you tell them, please classify the words that go with make and classify the words that go with do. Okay, very good. If you look at the slide here, you will find that it is written when you are teaching vocabulary, for example, you can classify idioms together, antonyms together, synonyms together, words with prefixes together, collocations together. Very good. That's a good idea, actually. I like it. I'm glad that you use it this way. Actually, it's very enjoyable, and your students love this. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to another activity here, which is jumble activity. Jumble activity. Let's give me a second to share the slide with you. Actually, I like your answers. I like them very, very well. I like them very much. Just a minute. We are trying to study jumble activity. Think a little bit about what a jumble activity is, how to apply it inside our classrooms, which stage in classroom do we use it, why do we use it, which skills, which language areas. Look at the slide on the screen. Is it clear? Assure me.
Yes, it's
Huh?
clear.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank Allah. Thank Allah, it's clear. Okay. By the way, we have a break, a 10 minutes break in the middle of the session, maybe at 6:30. Okay, so at 6:30, I may don't leave the meeting we are joining. Okay, we will just leave the device, put it aside, and go to pray the sunset prayer, for example, maybe wash or have a snack or do whatever you want to do. You have 10 or 15 minutes. We will agree together to the appointment that we are back. Okay. So now to the jumble activity. What's a jumble activity? A jumble activity is very well known. It's very well known. What's the word jumble? Jumble, it's when the word is unjumbled, it's not ordered the way that is the right way. Okay, so it is again a well-known activity which can be used on the word level. It has four levels that we you can use this activity on. Four levels. For the word level, if you are, for example, working with the spelling with low level learners like primary school students, grades maybe one, two, or three. Okay, grade one, grade two, grade three. If you are doing spelling, you can give them lots of letters on cards and ask them to make words. My dear students, you have cards, you have letters on the cards, and you form words using the letters on the cards. Okay, this is the word level. So they unjumble the letters like the picture here on the slide. For example, the word tack on the picture. Tack. TAC. I give my students 3 cards. Every card has, for example, the T letter, the A letter, the C letter, and they have to form sentences. Words. They have to form words using these letters. Of course, this is used with young learners, the low level learners or young learners, primary school students, grade 1, 2, 3, maybe. Okay, so they may tell me cat. They form words like this, cat, using the words. They unjumble the cards, and they form words. This is on the word level. So on the sentence level, you can ask them to unjumble the words. You give them words. Okay, you have cards having words, and you tell your students, please unjumble the words and form a correct sentence, or maybe a question form. If you are doing questions on in certain grammatical rule or certain tense, you give them cards having the words of the question, and they reorder or unjumble and form the correct way of having this sentence or this question. Okay, so on the sentence level, actually they may make questions the right way, and the sentence level basically deals with the sentence structure and the sentence formation. How to form a question. I give them the cards. The cards have words. Okay, is that clear? Do you find it clear?
Yes.
Okay, they have to form the sentence, or of course the sentence can have a grammatical rule.
How can they form? Yeah, how can they form a sentence correctly?
Okay, I will tell you. If I am explaining a grammatical rule, so I have explained the rule and they have understood it, and I give them examples. I want to have an activity to check their understanding of the explanation that I provided them. So I give them cards having the words. I have a sentence. I have prepared a sentence, but I put it like words on cards, and they are not ordered. I give them in a random way. They are unjumbled. I give them the cards telling my students, now we have studied the grammatical rule, and we have studied how to make questions in the past simple tense, for example. And here is a question. I want you to reorder or to unjumble the cards. Okay, and to provide me with the correct form of the question in the past form, in the past simple tense. They have to reorder it. They will unjumble, just unjumble the cards. Okay, they write
Is it necessary, Miss? Is it necessary that the words are in course?
it's not necessary, but this is the yeah. It's not necessary. You can
Like
put the
for
words on
example, I I have a daughter in year 4 in primary school. Okay, so
yeah.
there is a question um, which is try to order the sentence, to
Mhm.
order the words in order to make sentence. Okay.
It's like this, by the way. It's like this. This is the same activity
Yes.
actually. This is a jumble activity. Yeah, it's a jumble activity on the sentence level. That's it. That's
Okay.
it. Order the words to form the correct sentence statement, or to form the correct kind of question, maybe in the past simple or whatever. Yeah, that's it. That's the activity. I'm just trying to explain it, okay? And the levels of it, and the varieties we have in order to find what is suitable for our lessons. Mr. Abdelmanam, you are raising your hand. Go ahead if you have something to add. Thank you, Ms. Huda. Somebody wants to come. He's
Mr.
here.
Abdul Majid. Mr. Abdul Majid.
Yeah, go ahead, mister. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Jumble sentence, which we say rearrange the following words to make meaningful sentence.
Yeah, that's it. But here I'm trying to tell you that we can do it like cards, giving words on cards. Okay, and they have to reorder them, and because this makes your students work in groups. You divide them into groups, and you give them the cards, and you tell them reorder the words to have the correct statement or the correct question, okay? And they speak in groups. People who don't want to speak, some students don't want to speak. What should I do? They don't want to answer. So I divide them into groups. I give them the cards. I tell them, my dear students, work together, discuss the answers, unjumble the words to form the correct statement or the correct form of question. That's it. Okay, we give you varieties. We are here today to give you
Thank you.
variety. Thank you so much. So on the reading text, if you have a reading text which is long and you find it difficult for your students to work on their own to read this very long and boring text, you can cut it down into paragraphs, for example, or parts, and you put the parts to your learners, the cards having the parts or the paragraphs to your learners, and you divide them into groups, telling them, my dear learners, discuss and cooperate together to order the paragraphs and the parts, and to have the correct text or the correct script of the text. So they discuss and they speak in groups, and they cooperate to have the correct way. Okay, so again, you can also use it with reading text. If the reading text is long one and you feel that your students will find it long and boring to read it on their own, you can just cut it into paragraphs, put the students into groups, they put the paragraphs in the right order. This is on the reading text level. Okay, they put the paragraphs in the right order. For example, actually, this is more enjoyable for the students, and it requires that students just have a look at the paragraphs and discuss them together in groups. This one should be here. No, it shouldn't be here. It should be there, and so on. So this allows the discussion and peer correction. They correct to each other, okay, and so on. And finally, you can use the same activity with the stories. On the story level, if you have a story and you find that the traditional way of teaching a story is monotonous, it's boring, so I cut it down into pieces, into paragraphs or parts. If you mute yourselves, my dear colleagues. So you can cut it into different parts, then put the students in groups. Then you ask them to have a look at the paragraphs or different parts. They read the parts and they cooperate together and discuss to put the parts in the correct order so they have the correct script of the story. So I have to ask you now, how do you use jumble activity in your classes? Why do you use them for? Do you use it differently? Do you
Okay,
use
Miss.
it? Yeah, go ahead. Who is
Okay,
it?
Miss Samah.
Miss Samah, go ahead.
Okay, I use this jumble activity in my class in a primary stage. I use the word in the word level. I gave my students some words and ask them to rearrange these words to make a good sentence. Okay,
Yeah,
I give them some paragraphs. They order these paragraphs to complete a good story
yeah,
in a good in a right order. And in the story, I give them some pictures to order these pictures to get the right order in the picture.
excellent.
The right order of this story, the sequence, good sequence to this story.
Excellent. This is a good way of doing it. You can provide pictures and they can reorder and unjumble the pictures so that they have, according to the text they read. So they read and understand and they unjumble the pictures so they have the correct story according to pictures. Very good. Excellent idea.
Yes,
Very good.
it makes them very enjoyable and fun in the story, and they remember it. They didn't forget it.
Very good. I like your answers. Of course, I told you before, you are experiments in the whole process of teaching and learning. You have experiences, and you can teach me. I can learn from your experiences. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay,
Let's
thank
move
you.
on to.
Yes,
Okay. Do you get
yes, Miss
the? Yeah. Go ahead. Who is it?
Miss
Go
Heba.
ahead, Miss Heba. Go ahead.
Yes, I explain a story in the class. Then I give them some actions happen in the story. Then I ask them to put the actions which I give them in the correct order. Then I ask them which action happened first and second. Then yes,
Okay, I will ask you this, about how do you give them the actions on cards or on the board or orally maybe? How do you
orally,
give
maybe
oral?
orally,
Okay, but
laboratory.
uh, sorry, orally. You mean orally? You just tell them which action happened first, which event happened first, and what
Orally,
happened
orally
later
on
on.
the board.
Sorry,
Not on the
Miss,
board. Orally.
orally, not on the board. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay, so let's
also
move on.
Miss,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
When
go
we
ahead.
when okay, for example, when you are dealing with a story, some students have a story. For example, Treasure Island.
Yeah.
They study it at they have the textbook, and we ask them to order the events which happens first and what happened second and what happened at the end. Okay, this is how things go.
Yeah, very good. That's it. Stories are very fun doing this activity, jumble activity in stories, because you know that stories are long and maybe monotonous. Getting the students to read all this amount of passages and paragraphs. So if you just put the story on another form like this, so it's very enjoyable and fun, and they find it interesting and they share. They participate with you, okay? And this is our main aim, to get them to integrate them and to get them involved in the whole process, because when they are involved and they do the things by their hands, and they share and speak and that sort of thing, they never forget it. That's it. That's the idea. And at the end, we meet the learning objectives. This meets the learning objective, and it actually achieve the objectives I have in class. Thank you very much. I like your answers. You're excellent. You're better than I am. You do lots of activities. I like you very much. Thank you so much. So let's move on to another activity type, which is jigsaw reading. Just a minute. I'm trying to share the slide with you. Jigsaw reading. Think about it. Jigsaw reading and listening. Again, a very enjoyable kind of activity, and it has different ways of setting up. We can set it up differently. So look at the slide on the screen. Can you see it, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, Miss
I'm
Mark.
glad. I'm glad you can see it clearly. Thank you so much. So jigsaw, the word jigsaw, sometimes it's a name of a person, of a movie character, but it's again it means a puzzle, a riddle, doing some parts together to form the whole picture at the end, like the picture on the screen, like this on the slide. People are trying to put things together to form a picture, for example, okay, to have the word team, for example. But this is not the activity. What do you know about jigsaw reading and jigsaw listening, according to the videos that I've provided you on the WhatsApp group? Watch the videos every day. I told you, watch the videos. A gentle
Yes, miss.
reminder. Okay, who is
Yes.
it? Yeah,
Okay, Miss Samah. Miss Samah.
Miss Samah, and then Mr. Ayman, عشان Mr. Ayman is raising his hand. Miss Samah, go ahead, and then Mr. Ayman
Okay,
is
from
okay.
I watched from the videos. I think that Jigsaw is a cooperative learning method, reading
Very good.
comprehension strategy, divide the class into groups, make different tasks to the same main topic. Each student considered as a piece of a puzzle. Each student reads a leveled text about a different topic. Okay,
Mhm.
taking notes. Everyone taking notes about the topic, and they gathering again. Everyone exchanges the informations about the same topic. Okay. In expert group, students ask each other questions and discuss their subtopics, exchange their experience. they
Yeah,
working together, they really enjoy.
very good. Thank you so much. Okay, very good. Thank
Thank
you so much. Yeah, Mr. Ayman, go ahead.
Yes. Jigsaw method is a method of organizing a classroom activity
Hmm.
that makes students dependent on each other to succeed.
Yeah,
This method splits classes into mixed groups to work on small problems that the group collates into a final outcome. Jigsaw method enables each student of a home group in one aspect of a topic. It reduces racial conflict among school children, promote
yeah.
better learning, improves student
Mhm.
motivation, and increases enjoyment of the learning experience.
Very good. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
That's
That's
very
jigsaw
kind.
reading. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you all. So I have to tell you about it.
Very kind of
It
you, Miss
has
Marwa.
to be. Thank you very much. You're welcome, my dear colleague. You're welcome. Okay, so if you are doing actually a reading or listening, so um, you just you can set it up in many different ways. I have to tell you about two ways today. I will tell you about two ways of doing or setting this activity up. Okay. First, you put the students in groups. Okay, you if you have a reading passage about, for example, the seasons of the year. All right, I will explain it in some kind of how to apply it and how to set it up, because this is what's very important on how to apply it inside your classrooms and on what language area exactly. Actually, it is on reading and listening passages that are long. So again, it's monotonous and boring for my students. They are long to work on their own to read this whole text. Oh my God, we will not understand anything. We are not interested. What's this? It's a theoretical content. No, we don't want to do this. No, don't worry. Jigsaw reading is excellent with this kind of area or language area, the reading long reading passages. You divide them into paragraphs or parts. For example, if I'm teaching my students about the seasons of the year, so we have summer, spring, winter, what else, summer, spring, winter, autumn, or fall.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
oh.
fall, which is winter. Okay, we divide our class into four groups. This is number one. This is the first step. I divide, I cut the reading passage into four parts. One part on, or one paragraph on the winter season, one part on the spring season, one part on the autumn season, etc. And I divide. How many paragraphs do we have? We have four paragraphs. Okay, we will divide our classrooms and our students into four groups. Okay, every group made up from, for example, 5 learners, 6 learners. That's it. Okay, every group reads one paragraph only. So group number one reads about paragraph number A, which is spring, for example. Group number two will read about summer, okay, which is paragraph number two. Group number three will read about, for example, autumn or fall, okay, etc. Till the end of the paragraphs I have four paragraphs and four groups. Every group reads about only one topic, only one paragraph. And they have three questions, for example, on this topic. Group number one has three questions on the topic they are reading about, on the season they are reading about. So they read, they cooperate together to understand the paragraph about spring or summer or whatever, and they answer the questions. And I monitor over them, I watch them, I give them a hand, for example, if they need any explanation of a word or whatever, and I check that they have read the paragraph and they have answered the questions correctly. I may even provide them with the model answer papers. For example, after they answer the questions, I give them the model answer to each group. For example, these are called expert groups. Okay, I will be an expert in summer season. So group number two will be expert in spring season. Uh, s- uh, uh, Group number three will be expert in fall season. They will read the text about it and answer the questions, and I check their understanding and having the correct answer. I will provide them with the correct answer. That's one step. That's all. This is one step. Okay, what to do next? I will do something which is very important. I will regroup them. I will regroup them so that there are new groups having different students from different groups. Okay, so if we have 5 students in a group and on the new group, so one of them has read about spring, and the other one has read about autumn. The third one has read about fall. Sorry, summer. The last one has read about winter. So they again work in groups to discuss what they have learned from the expert groups. What did you learn, my colleague, about spring? So he will tell them, I read about the spring, and the months of the spring are blah, blah, blah. And here are the answers of the questions that I had. So they do like this and go on like this until they share the information they have, and they share the questions they have, and they have the correct answers. Like this is one way to set it up. There is another way, actually. I have to tell you about it. The other way of setting this
Mr.
activity
Magdi.
up. Yeah. Please, Mr. Mute yourself, my dear colleague, and follow me. It's very important. Okay. Another way of doing it, actually, I'll tell you about, because it's very important and very enjoyable. You know that reading passages and listening passage are very long and monotonous. So another way to set it up is like the one in the picture. Look at the picture on the slide. You divide the class into two big sides or two big groups. Okay, it works really well with the two shorter texts. Actually, if a text that speaks about Sharm Sheikh, for example, and the other text speaks about Cairo, for example, so each you ask each side of the class to read one of the texts and answer specific questions like the ones I will tell you now. For example, what's the weather like in Cairo? How much does it cost to stay in a hotel for a night in Cairo? What kind of activities can a tourist do in Cairo? These are 3 questions on the paragraph which is speaking about Cairo. So I'll give these questions to the big group, okay, which will read about Cairo. What about the other group, or the other side of the class? The other side of the class are going to read about Sharm Sheikh. I have a paragraph about Sharm Sheikh. They have to answer the same 3 questions, but about Sharm Sheikh. For example, what's the weather like in Sharm Sheikh? How much does it cost to stay in a hotel for a night in Sharm Sheikh? What kind of activities can a tourist do in there in Sharm Sheikh? So they after they read about the two big paragraphs, we have two big groups and two big paragraphs. Every group has read about the two cities, and they have answered the questions correctly. You may, again, I'll tell you again that you may give them the answer on a piece of paper so that they can check their answers. Then you regroup. Okay, this is very important. Regrouping, the second regrouping is very important. You put them into pairs, like the picture, pairs, 2 students together, pairs. Okay, and each person has read about a different topic and has answered different questions. They start sharing. The first speaks about the city they read about and help each other to answer the questions. At the end of the activity, both know about the two cities, Cairo and Sharm Sheikh, and they all have the answers for all the questions about Sharm Sheikh and Cairo. And this is exactly the picture on the screen. So it can be done in groups, like the first one I told you about, or in pairs, like the picture on the screen. Okay. So let me ask you again. Have you tried jigsaw reading in your classes before? Have you tried it the same way, maybe, or differently? I hope you try it in the future in one of your lessons and tell us how it went. And I have to tell you that, yeah, go ahead. Introduce
Inshallah.
you. Okay, Miss. Okay.
Yes, this is good way.
Yeah, Miss Hiba. Okay, go ahead. Feel free to express yourself. You like it.
Yes, I like it.
It's interesting and enjoyable. And when some people don't
I
want to
will
read,
follow it. Yes.
sorry, yeah, go ahead, my dear. Okay, so make sure that your instructions are clear, especially if you are doing it for the first time. So when your learners are not accustomed to doing such activity, clarify it in a simple way, giving short instructions, and maybe write the steps on the board if you need. Okay, there are lots and lots of options that you can do to facilitate the whole activity and the practice. Okay, may I ask you a question if you are following me well? What about the jigsaw listening? What's the problem that may come or may obstacle using the jigsaw listening? When we have a listening text and it's long, a long text, and we have to have groups of my students, and they have to listen to certain paragraph, and they have to answer questions after they listen to it. Of course, they will listen to the tape, to sorry, the recorder. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's the problem with this, with the listening using the jigsaw? There are certain
This,
limitations. Think. Yeah, Miss Hiba.
this way might be need a lot of time
Very good. A lot
in
of
the
time.
class. We
Mhm.
haven't. Yes, we haven't time or more time in the class to make this way. Just go.
Yeah, Jackso, yeah. Very good. I agree with you. We don't have much time. Very good. And if you look at the paragraph on the slide, the last three lines here, let's read it together. Managing a jigsaw listening exercise is more challenging. There are challenges doing it. It's difficult. It means it's difficult. It's not easy like reading. Okay. Why? Because it requires multiple tape recorders. You have to give each group a tape recorder to listen to the paragraph. Okay. And you have to have enough space to listen without disturbing other groups, because all the groups will be playing the audio at the same time, okay, all at once. So it's difficult, it's disturbing, they will not hear anything. So it needs a lot of space, enough time, uh, enough resources, the multiple tape recorders. Okay, so got the picture? Did you get how the jigsaw reading works? Is
Miss,
that clear?
I don't think that this is realistic. Uh, we don't have
Well,
tapes or recordings at schools, by the way. So I think it's very, very imaginative. I think it's something which is not realistic at all.
what
How
about
can you?
yeah, what about international schools who have lots of resources
Okay.
and they like having activities like this? Of course, we can't do the jigsaw listening in our classes. I agree with you. Of course, I agree with you. But what about international schooling? Is it easy? The jigsaw reading is easy?
Yeah.
Do you find it easy? I find it easy myself, and I will apply it inside my class, inshallah, when we are back to school in the second term, because I really liked it and I haven't used it before, and I will, inshallah, use it and tell you how it went. Okay, but listening, of course,
I'm
jigsaw
trying.
listening is, yeah.
Okay, I
Mhm.
will try it, and I will see if it does work or not, and we will discuss it formally.
Very good. You are giving us a good idea again of the module. You have to test it, you try it, you see what are the merits and demerits of it. Does it suit your kind of your learners? Do they find it enjoyable, fun? Does it meet the learning outcomes? Did they like it? You didn't like They didn't like it. You just have a bank of activities that are tried and tested, and you just use them later on, when they have been familiar with them, and they know them well, and they enjoy them, and they best suit the needs of my learners, the levels, the ages, the learning outcomes, the resources I have, everything, the time, even the time. Okay, thank you very much. You're very, very cooperative today. I like your mind today. Let's move on to role play. I have to ask you, do you want to have a break now? We can have a break now if you are tired, and we come back again to complete the session.
No.
Let's
Yes.
continue, Miss. Let's
Yes, want to
continue
break.
and finish.
Want to
عشان
break.
you want a break? You are tired?
لا أنا want
No.
to pray
Yes.
to pray المغرب.
To pray, yeah, to pray. I
Yeah.
haven't prayed the sunset. I haven't performed my sunset prayers. Yeah. So we go now. Don't leave the meeting. Just put the device aside. Okay. So it's 40 to 7 now. It's 40 to 7. I guess it's about 40 to 7. So we can have 10 minutes or 15 minutes to pray and do whatever we want to do. 10 or 15 minutes. Let it be 15 minutes. Okay. So we come back at which appointment? Can anybody measure this and tell us the time to come back?
7 o'clock. I see.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock. It's too much. 7 o'clock is too much. Okay, 7 o'clock. But we have 20 minutes. We have to have 10
Okay.
minutes.
Seven
أنا
to 10. 7 to 10.
7 to 10. Yeah, but 10 minutes. Oh, okay, 10 minutes. Okay, 10 to 7. 10 to 7. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, don't leave the meeting. By the way, don't leave the meeting. Just put the device aside, and beware for so as not to somebody. Yani, I don't want your children to play with the device. Okay,
Miss,
put it
I left the meeting, Miss, and please accept me when I return.
okay. So our appointment, inshallah, is 10 to 7, inshallah. Okay, see you at 10 to 7. Thanks and
Inshallah.
take care till we meet, inshallah, after 10 minutes. Okay. Take care. Take care now.
I have a problem in the sound.
Okay, guys, we are back. It's 5 to 7, 5 minutes more than we have agreed upon. Okay. Hey, we're back. Hello,
Okay, Miss.
everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll move to another
Okay.
activity, which is role play. Let me share the slide. Just a minute, please. Okay, give me a second. We're going to study or have a look at the activity which is called role play. Of course, you have heard about it and maybe you use it all the time with your learners because it's very famous and you knew it, I'm sure. Okay, let's have a look at this slide. Can you see it, guys? Can you all see it?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, hallelujah. Thank Allah. Okay.
Yes.
So about yeah, okay, thank God. Okay. So I'm sure you all know about role plays. For example, this role play talks about learners and teacher. So we have two roles, the role of the learner and the role of the teacher. Your students will be teacher or learners. Okay, there is some kind of scenario here on the slide, and they will take turns to role play. One of them may be the teacher, and the others, or one of them is the learner. Okay, so they have to provide question and form conversations. Okay, maybe the conversations are already made in the syllabus in the book. Okay, I may have the conversation because role play is about conversations, real conversation. That's better actually. Okay, of course you heard about it before and you use it all the time. The conversations, the first speaker and the second speaker, the teacher and the learners. What's the situation here? The situation needs conversation and questions and answers and that sort of thing. So I can tell my students, now we have a role play activity, my students, and you are the learners, others are the teachers. You form groups, and the first of all, you cooperate together to form the questions and the answers and form the conversation together. So you have the conversation. Okay, if they are low learners, you can help them or give them a hand with the questions and answers. You may provide them with the conversation and they dramatize it. Okay, they take roles to role play it, So here we have two situations. The learners are two roles, the learners and the teacher. There is a problem. The learners, I tell my learners, you are doing an English language course, for example. This is just an example to clarify the whole thing, and want to take the exam. You want to take the exam, and there is an exam in 2 weeks' time, but you haven't finished the course. Okay, there is a problem with you. You haven't. I guess there is Mr. Khamis trying to join us. Just a minute, my dear colleagues. Okay, I'm trying to admit people in the lobby. There is nobody in the lobby, but okay. He's telling me that he can join us. Just a minute, I'm trying to text him on the WhatsApp. Okay, just a minute, my dear colleagues. I'll tell our colleague. I'm just texting him on the WhatsApp group so that he can join us. Okay, Mr. Khamis. I hope that he joins us as fast as possible. Please mute yourselves. I guess I lost you, right? I myself lost you. Just a minute. Okay, can you hear me now? My dear colleagues,
Yes.
assure me.
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Back to the role play. Okay. Back to the role play. I'll show the slide. Give me a second. Actually, I advised you not to leave the meeting, but people again left it, and there is bad connection, and they have a problem, and we start again and waste time. Actually, I told you, Allah is great. Okay. So back to role play. I was trying to tell you that there is a situation, for example, the learners have a problem. They pretend to have a problem. Okay, you are doing an English language course and you want to take the exam. There is an exam in 2 weeks time, but you haven't finished the course. The next exam is in 6 months time, but you don't want to wait. You want to do the exam soon. You would like the teacher to give you extra lessons, so you are ready for the exam in 2 weeks time. So this is a problem. Okay, this is a problem with the learners. Okay, so what's the role of the teacher? Here, the teacher has another problem. Okay, you are the teacher of the English course. The course ends in 1 month. You also teach another course in the evenings. You don't have much time or free time, and you don't really want any more work. So, you, the teacher, and the students, you have to form the conversation, and you have to act it out. You dramatize it, you personalize it. Okay, and it's better if you choose conversations that are real, more like real lives, real situations, and they are dramatizing these situations. Okay, they have to be aware of the realistic issues like in shops, clinic, and so on. And it's important that you give them the functional language they need to communicate with people in the real world, right? So this is role play. We have two rules. I am, my dear students, I am the doctor, I am the physician, and you are the patient. What's the conversation? Okay, my patient, what's your name? My name is Rasha. Okay, what's wrong with you? How do you feel? What's your problem? I have a headache, doctor, every day. Okay, this is the conversation. That's how it goes. We form the conversation, or maybe when my learners are low grades or low learners, I just help them with the functional language they need, giving them the questions and the answers or the conversation. Or maybe the conversation is ready, I have it in the book, and we just dramatize it, forming groups, speakers, roles. Okay, and they traumatize. So this gets them to speak in groups. They gets the students who don't speak or are reluctant to speak to share with me. Okay, it's very interesting. So I'll ask you again, do you use role plays in your classes? How do you use them? Maybe you use it differently. Just tell me about it, your experience. Huh? Do you use
Okay,
role play
Miss.
in your class? Yeah, go ahead, Miss
I
Huda.
use
Okay.
it in conversation, in fact, and in especially conversations in stories, like Treasure
Yeah,
Island.
yeah. Even stories, very interesting,
They
wonderful.
they dramatize the dialogue, which that going on between the among characters inside the story, and it's something which is very interesting, in fact.
Very good. I like it. I like your experience, actually. This is very interesting and integrating to your learners. You get them to speak and dramatize and act these roles. Thank you very much, Miss Huda. I guess Mr. Abdelmajid was raising his hand. Miss Fatima Mahmoud, I guess.
I use
Unmute
this
yourself.
technique.
Okay, Mr. Okay.
I use this technique when I teach when I teach reading text. I ask my students after I read the text, what do you understand from what I read? And ask them to
Okay.
tell me what they can understand.
Is this role play or these are checking understanding questions? These are post reading questions, checking understanding questions. Okay, I have to tell you
Yes.
that this is not role play. Your role play is having to dramatize or personalize a situation in real life. For example, I'm the customer, and I'm trying to the shops to buy pants, for example, like what you have seen in the video I provided you on the WhatsApp. I provided you
Yes.
on the WhatsApp with video, people trying to buy, I guess it was fruits like this. Okay, do you remember?
Yes, miss. Yes.
And one of
Yes.
them is the seller and the other is the customer, and they have a conversation together, a lively conversation, right? It's enjoyable. And you can do it with many ages and levels. And it's low
Yes.
preparation, doesn't need preparation. Just we provide the functional phrases, clarify any vocab, any structure. That's it. Very easy. Miss Fatima, you have something to add? Go ahead.
Yes, Miss
Okay, go
Marwa.
ahead. Yeah, okay.
Uh, I sometimes use it in teaching a conversation in primary six in the unit of the restaurant, and I sometimes act the conversation with the students, then ask two students to come and act it will as I act it with their friends.
Very good. That's it. That's it. That's role play. That's it. Very good. Thank you so much. I'm glad
Thank
that you use it all the time. Thank you so much, my dear colleague. So the next activity is find someone who. Find someone who is maybe you don't use it. You don't usually use it, but we will be exposed to it and understand it. Allah is great. Just a minute. I'm trying to show the slide here. What was it? It's find someone who. All right. Have you ever heard of find someone who? Have you ever used it in your
No,
class?
no, Miss. Marwa.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither, actually. But I will use it later on, inshallah. I learned it and I will apply it because I like it. So find someone who actually one of the most commonly used activities because it can be used to practice all the tenses and different kind of vocabulary. It's used for grammatical rules, which are tenses, all kinds of tenses actually, and different kind of vocab. Okay, it's very versatile. This is the way we do it or set it up. I will tell you. We have a table on the slide, as you see. We have a table like this. Find someone who, for example, has been abroad. Has been abroad. This is present perfect. If you are teaching present perfect, this is the grammatical rule or the tense that I'm teaching. I just give them the prompts like this in the table. I draw the table on the board, maybe, and I and my students change the prompts here into questions. Okay, yes, no questions using the helping verbs. So if we are teaching present perfect tense, so the questions will be in the form of the present perfect tense like this. Find someone who has been abroad. It will be, have you been abroad? Have you eaten something strange? Have you won a competition? Have you ever done a dangerous sport? These are the questions. I write them on the board. Okay. Or I ask my students if they are high level learners, if they are high achievers, if they are not weak. Okay. I ask them to form the questions themselves. I give them these prompts, this table on the board, and all my students and dear learners change them into yes no questions with the present perfect form, like what I've just said. Okay, so either I find them weak learners, so I help them, I provide them with the questions, or they may be high level learners, so I get them to make the questions themselves using the tenses that I'm teaching in today's lesson. Okay, then I ask students to mingle. You know what mingle is? They go around the class. They have the questions. They write the question down in their notebooks or a paper, for example, and they have a pen and they go around. They go in a kinesthetic way, a movable way, I mean, and they go to ask each other and one another, have you been abroad? The student or the colleague who says yes, I write his name. Okay, and I ask people differently all the time, not the same person. Okay, so this colleague writes his name. If he says yes, I write his name, and the activity goes on, and I ask different people to ask the same person. No, I'm sorry, you don't ask the same person, you ask the students go around the class and they ask each other. And who is this yes? You just write their name on the table they have. Okay. And after the activity is done, everyone is seated, and I ask them to report and share information about their friends. I'm going to say, okay, I asked Mrs. Samah, for example, and she said she has been to, yeah, she has been abroad. Okay, these are yes no questions. So,
Mm.
do you normally use find someone who in your classes? You yourselves, do you use it? Have you ever used it? Of course, you told
Yes,
me you
yes,
haven't.
miss.
Yeah, you have. Go
Yes,
ahead.
I use this activity in primary stage. And I have a lesson about what's your favorite food.
Very
Okay,
good.
have you been? I asked my students, have you been eating a strange food? Like what?
Mm. And you also asked them a follow-up question. You did something which is very important. There is another way to do this activity. Okay, there is another way of doing this activity, which is you can give them after they say yes. You can get the students to ask others a follow-up question. مثلا, for example, as you have just said, have you eaten a strange food? What was it? And you write short notes and you tell the others and we discuss together. So
Yes,
Mrs. Sama told me yes, she has been abroad. Okay, which countries have you been to? So she has been to France and for example, America, etc. So this is a little bit interesting, and it gets students to speak and share, and it's done in a kinesthetic way. As I've told you, it's movable. They move, they mingle around the class, and they share the information together. Very good, wonderful.
it
Okay.
Yes,
makes
Miss,
the
but
students gain confidence. It makes them gain confidence in using language.
Excellent. It gives them confident. It gets them to be confident in using the language. And shy people who don't want to speak can speak in this activity because they
Yes,
have the questions in hand. It's
it's
easy.
very,
They just
it's fun and enjoyable for students.
okay. I hope that you try it in your classes when you come
yes,
back to.
who asks the question? Who asks? The teacher is asking, or the students ask each other.
The students ask each other. Okay.
No. Mm.
Yeah, the students ask each other. They mingle. By the way, I provided you with a video on this on the WhatsApp group. Okay, the teacher just clarified the task, and the lesson was about the present perfect tense, and they formed the questions together, and they had to mingle to move around the class and ask each other and write down names and etc. This is very enjoyable. Okay, I have to tell you something that they can later on practice again the grammatical structure that is used here. It may be present perfect, it may be past tense, it may be new vocab, it may be food, like our colleague has just said. Okay, many.
Yes.
It's versatile. Versatile means it has different purposes and uses. Okay, I'm
Okay.
following. If you have something to add. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
let's
Thank
move
you.
on. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Actually, this activity lends itself to practice many language points. In case of having low level learners, as I've just told you, you just give them the questions and only ask them to do the speaking part. You just provide them with the questions ready made. You provide them with the questions, and they do the speaking part only, like a game, as if they are playing in class. This is one way of doing it. So let's move on to study what's brainstorming activity and what is the ranking activity, declagloss, drill. We have many activities today, so bear us today because the content of the session is intensive. That's not my fault. You have to learn about them all. Just a minute, I'm trying to share the slides with brainstorming and ranking activities. Hope you bear me. Brainstorming is like this the same way actually we did it at the beginning of the session when I asked you to brainstorm as many kinds of activities as you can. When I asked you to um, thank Allah, Mr. Khamis, you are with us. Thank you so much. Hallelujah, alhamdulillah. So we're speaking about brainstorming. What brainstorming is think about it and Prepare to tell me what brainstorming is and why do we use it inside our classes. What's brainstorming? Brainstorming. What's the translation in Arabic? Can anyone tell me about the translation of this word?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Marwa.
Yeah.
عصف الذهني عصف الذهني.
عصف ذهني. Very
عصف
good.
ذهني.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much. Yeah, mister. Thank you so much. They actually, this is like generating ideas. We have a topic and I want them to be to refresh my learners to refresh their schemata. You know what is the schemata? Schemata is like memories, the information, the prior information they have in mind about certain topic. Okay, the former information they have in mind about something, about food, about means of transport or whatever. Okay, so I just ask them before I teach the lesson or start explaining the lesson. I just ask them, what are kinds of food do you know, my dear students? Tell me about different kinds of vegetables, different kinds of foods. For example, food, means of transport, for example, holiday destinations, places you want to go to. Okay, this is called brainstorming, like the same way I did at the beginning of the session when I told you to write in the chat books as many practice activity types as you can. Okay, that you know or have practiced before in your classes maybe. This is brainstorming. I just refresh their memory, their schema. The word schema is singular, and the word schemata, which you have in the module, is the plural of schema. It is it actually is the synonymous to the word prior information about certain topic. So you refresh the memory of your learners towards or around certain topic, so that they come to the lesson effectively. They are ready to have the lesson, so you explain later on. So do you use brainstorming in your classes?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah.
Of course.
How do you use it? In which content?
Okay, we warm. We first we make a warm up, and in this way we refresh our students' memory and prepare them in order to receive new information concerning the new process of learning.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Who else wants to tell us about it?
For
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss. In
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
beginning of the lesson, I ask a question like when I talk about the healthy food. What do you know about healthy food? What kinds of healthy food?
Very good. That's it.
Eh,
Thank you very much.
Everyone give me a different answer. This activity is very, very important and it's very protective as a whole class activity.
Very good.
All,
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
class participate. All the class participate in this activity. They like it very much.
Thank you so much. It's a dynamic actually and stimulating. It's a stimulating way to lead learners into a topic. Very good. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the ranking activity. What is a ranking activity? I will tell you. Just give me a second to share the slide here. So if I, for example, asked my learners about the kinds of food they want to eat, how they like to eat, I divide them into groups and I tell the groups to discuss together, to have a small discussion about the five or for example, the five most favorite kinds of food that they eat. Okay, the five most favorite. So they discuss together about number one is blah blah blah, number two is so and so, number three, number four, number six, or number five. What is the most favorite kind of food? What's the second most favorite kind of food? What's the third kind most favorite kind of food? This is called ranking activity. I rank. I give them numbers. What's on the top of the numbers? What's the most preferred kind of food? Okay, like this. It's important because they speak together and they have a discussion about what's important, what's the most important, what's the least important, what's the most favorable, what's the least favorable, that sort of thing. It's very easy. Okay, so after you brainstorm a topic, okay, or for example, if I am brainstorming the types of activities, okay, so I tell you what are the types of activities. Provide me with lots of practice activities, as much as you know, as many practice activities as you know, okay, and you write five kinds of activities. So again, after this brainstorming, I tell you what's the flexible activity of these five activities that I can adapt and change and modify to suit my learner, my learning needs and objectives. What's the most flexible one? What's the least flexible one? And you have discussion and you go to decide. So you think, you discuss, you speak, that sort of thing. It's very enjoyable. Okay, so if, for example, you can ask them to rank the destination, the holiday destinations that they may dream to go one day. What are the most three favorite holidays or holiday destinations? Number one is your most favorite. Number two, you have the second most favorite destination, for example. Number three is the third most favorite. So ranking in groups creates lots of discussion again, and it's really nice activity to be done in groups. Okay, is this kind of activity clear? So we just brainstorm and we rank, brainstorm and we rank. If we have things, we just order our priorities, as we say it. We order our priorities, one, two, three. What's the most important? What's the least important? And we discuss together. Okay, is that clear, my dear
Okay.
colleagues? Okay.
Yes.
Next,
Yes.
next we have something which is very important, very very important, and you haven't practiced it, I'm sure of that, and that's why I provided you with videos on the WhatsApp, because as I told you before, the activity or the content, sorry, the content of the module needs lots of preparation because it's intensive and long. So the coming activity is dictogloss. I know that you haven't tried it in your classrooms before. I haven't tried it myself, and later on, inshallah, when we are back to school, I will be keen to practice it with my students because it's very important, effective, interesting, everything. So I have something which is very enjoyable to you. I will paste a link now, and you go there, you will find something like an interactive video. You can watch a native speaker. He is a teacher of English, okay, like us, but he's a native speaker, of course. Uh, so you go to this link, which I'll paste on in the chat box. You will watch the video, but while you are watching the video, you will find like some cuts of the video. In these cuts, you have questions, okay, choice questions. They are easy and simple. Don't worry. So listen to the video or watch the video and answer the questions on the cuts of the video. This is called an interactive video. And you go on when you have chosen the answer, whether it is right or wrong. Don't worry, you can press go on or complete or continue. You will go on to complete watching the video. It has an explanation and application inside our classes of the dictogloss activity. So I pasted the link, just a minute, here in the chat box because I have it. And I have to tell you that we have watched it. I have provided it for you on the WhatsApp. It's this, just a minute, I'll paste it. Dictogloss. We will see how to apply it in our classes. Go to the chat box, my dear colleagues. Press press this link, click on it, go there, and I will go myself also. Let's have fun together. Yeah, you have found it. I'm glad to hear that. I will go there. It's not long, don't worry, 2 or 3 minutes. I will go myself. I will watch the video. I will answer the questions, and we come back together to study what dictogloss is and how to apply it in our classes.
The next activity is a great one to get the students concentrating and really helps them to focus on a particular language. The model sentences from the Gateway Grammar Guides are ideal to use. We're going to do an activity now which is like a dictation. It's a little bit different. I am going to dictate one long sentence to you, but it's important. When I dictate the sentence, you cannot write anything. When I finish, you have to try and remember what I said. It might be difficult, but don't worry because we'll do it. Okay, so let's see how much. Ready? Although I've already been to the States twice, I haven't visited Hollywood yet, despite the fact. Go. Do what you do enough. It's a good idea.
Seems that something wrong with the connection. There is a bad connection. Me too. Yeah, me too. You can't. So you can't complete the. Mr. Ahmed, there is a bad connection. With all people, bad connection. Come back to me. Okay, God help us today. Me too. I have to tell you that me too, yeah. Miss Ines, yeah. Okay. Don't worry, let's do it together here. Bad connection, Miss Amir. Okay. I have a bad connection too. God be with us today. All right, let's discuss it here together. We already saw it before. Yeah, you have already seen it before on the WhatsApp group. Hallelujah, Alhamdulillah, that I put it on the WhatsApp group. Yeah, Ahmad Zidan is me, Miss Marwa. You Mrs. Samah, yeah, okay. Okay, Miss Samah, okay. There is bad connection today. Have you watched the video on the WhatsApp group? This is the same video, by the way. Have you watched the video on the WhatsApp group about dictogloss? So that you can tell me what dictogloss is? Yeah, okay. No, some people haven't watched the videos. Although all the time I go there on the WhatsApp and text you saying, a gentle reminder, watch the videos. Okay. So, inshallah, after the session, you can go there and watch the video. It's important. I will explain it now. Okay, don't worry. So, dictogloss, what do you know about it? Can
Yes,
anybody
Miss.
tell me about it first? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Miss. Miss
Okay,
Samah.
Miss Samah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Dictogloss is a type of support dictation. It's like a dictation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we use the dictogloss because it's low preparation. It's suitable for a range of ages. It's suitable for all the subjects. It's suitable for all levels of prevency
How to
in
apply
English.
it? How to set it up? What are the steps?
Steps. I make a sentence on the board. I write a sentence on the board, like
Yeah.
present perfect.
No, I don't write it. And I don't write it. This is dictation through listening.
Yes, I dictate the students a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Can
and
you read the steps on the slide? Can you read the steps on the slide, please? What are the
okay.
steps? These steps we have. Yeah, please read
Okay,
them.
the teacher reads a short text to the learners who just listen.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the teacher reads the text again, and the learners take notes.
Mm-hmm.
Then they work in groups to recreate the text from their notes.
So that's it. That's it. Okay, so for example, I have teached my I have taught my students a certain area of language, certain vocab or certain grammatical structure, a certain tense, for example. So I want them to have certain activity to practice this area or this grammatical rules or whatever. So dictogloss is a good choice. It's actually a very flexible type of dictation, which involves listening to the teacher, speaking in groups, writing, and checking. How to do it? We have groups of students. Okay. I am the teacher. I read a short text, a couple of sentences, for example, or a short paragraph, a very short paragraph to my learners. For the first time, they just listen. They don't write anything. I just read it out loud once, and they just listen. Or maybe I play an audio. Okay, I play the recorder, having those couple of sentences or the very short text. Okay, they just listen for the first time. I read it again. This is the second time, and they take notes. They write the keywords. Okay, and that's it. They work in groups. Number three, step number three, they work in groups to recreate or reconstruct the text using their own words or even using the same words that they heard from me. Okay, this is dictogloss, like a dictation. It has actually a good practice of the listening skill. The students listen to me or to the audio. Okay, they speak. They practice speaking in groups. They discuss together, trying to construct or reconstruct the text. Okay, or the couple of sentences using their own words or the words I've just said. They read the sentences they wrote, they and their mates. Okay, and they write, of course. So the four skills in just one activity. It's very interesting and it's integrating to your learners. So this person, okay, gives us tips or pieces of advice on how to use it. He tells you that you can check the group's texts by doing something like this. Volunteers, one of your learners, for example, can write the text on the board, sentence by sentence. This is after they have reconstructed it. Okay, after they had reconstructed it. Okay, you have to know this. While their classmates make any necessary corrections. The learners don't have to use exactly the same words, but their writing must have the same meaning and be accurate. Okay, that's exactly the same way as applied in the video I provided you on the WhatsApp group. The teacher asked the students, my students, you will listen to two sentences, a couple of statements, and you have first time you just listen. Secondly, take notes or write the keywords. Afterwards, work in groups
Miss
to,
Marwa?
yeah, yeah, Miss Hiba. Yeah, go ahead. I'm here. Okay, so they discuss together to form or reconstruct the text which has certain contents, certain content, or certain grammatical rule of my lesson. Okay, and people can go on in front of the class to write it on the board after they had finished. Sorry, and they write it on the board and they make together. The whole class makes the certain or the necessary corrections and they discuss together and later on we can comment on that on the content or the structure or the grammar that the two sentences discuss. Okay, is the dictogloss clear? Have you ever used it inside your classes?
Yes,
Anybody
yes,
have?
I use it.
Oh my god, tell us. Yeah, tell us about
Okay,
it.
I think that uh, I use some the majority of these tips in the listening listen. Okay,
Yeah.
first I let student listen, and after that I read the text. My first student had to listen, and then they had to um, write down what they understand, and they make discussions and exchange the idea that the listening topic is about. And after finally we answer questions, and that's
Very,
all.
Very good. I have to tell you that there are certain adaptations we have we can adjust it, we can modify it. There are certain modification or changes that we can do to it. Like Miss Huda just said, she told us about a very important idea, which is modeling the listening. Okay, so after they reconstruct the couple of sentences, the teacher may say it for the third time, like a model for the students to check their answers. Okay, this is one thing. This is what one idea that our colleague has just provided us with. Okay, you can have, for example, a missing blanks. For example, they have to fill in some missing places after they reconstruct the sentences. They go on to fill in some spaces or answer some questions on the two sentences or this short paragraph. Okay, good,
Okay,
good.
let's. There are already in the student book this skills. Sorry, this
Yeah,
question.
ready-made questions.
At the end,
Ready-made.
they answer student book questions. It's related
Yeah,
to the text they have listened.
listened to. Yeah, very good. That's it. Actually, in the listening text, we have something like this. Actually, they can listen to the teacher or the tape, the recorder, for example, and they try to take notes or answer some questions. And but the different idea here is the groups, the working in groups, the speaking in groups, the volunteer who goes to the whiteboard, for example, and the discussion between the mates having or making the necessary corrections. Okay, these things are actually make the activity livelier, more interesting, more integrating to my learners, because they are already accustomed to and familiar with the traditional listening that they know. So this is another way of doing the listening activity. All right, do you find it enjoyable? Will you try it later on, inshallah?
Yes.
Promise me to try it, okay? Promise me to try it. I promise you to try it
I
myself
think
with my
I think
learn.
yes,
We
I think
promise
we
you.
try it for individuals, but it's new for us to try it with the group.
Yeah, that's it. So we have to try the other variety of this, the other script of the activity. Thank you so much. Let's move on to drills. And the drills is very enjoyable kind of activity. What do you know about drills? What are the kind of drills? We have some activities here to do together. Just a minute. I want you to go to certain link and certain web page to do certain task, but I hope that there is a good connection this time. We will try, by the way. Anyway, we will try. No problem with trial. Maybe it's a success. Just a minute. What we will be having here, we'll be having or doing the drills. What are drills? Here is the slide. Just have a look at it before I paste the link. It's a web page called Padlet. Padlet is like the Facebook. I will paste the link of this web page, which is called Padlet. Okay, where you go, you click on it, and you go there, and you will find two posts that I posted. The titles or the kinds of drills and their definitions. This is one post where you can read and maybe press like or even comment on the post, on this post after reading it. Then there is another post on this same page that I will paste its link in the chat box, inshallah, right now. You have another post, which is the video. Again, I provided you with this video on the WhatsApp group, but for people who haven't watched it, I will paste it now. You will find it on the Padlet wall. Uh, just a minute. I will paste the link, which we will try. Anyway, we will try. Just a minute. Allah be with us today with the bad connection, but inshallah, everything is going to be okay.
Please, Miss Marwa, can you repeat again? I didn't hear you.
Okay, I will repeat it again. When I paste the link, I have a link to paste here in the chat box that I want you to press it and click on it and go there. you will find a web page having two posts. One of them is about the kinds of drill and their definitions. The other post is a video, a very enjoyable video that I put on the WhatsApp group before. I want you to watch the video and read the post and come back to me so that we have a discussion about drills here. Can you see the link in the chat box? Go there. Just go have a look in the chat at the chat box. And do you find it? Assure me first. Do you see the link?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
Press it or click on it and go there. You have two posts as if it's a page of the Facebook. Okay, you have a post having the kinds of drills and the definitions of them, the explanations of them. You read them. This is one post. The other post on this page having the video of how to apply the drill activities inside the class. Two people are speaking in a funny way, but again in a fast way. They are native speakers, so let's enjoy. I will go there myself. Go now. I hope it works this time. This is called Padlet, by the way. Very enjoyable. Have you seen the posts?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. Read the posts first. Read the post that has the kinds of drills and their definitions. Now watch the video. Bad connection again, Mr. Isam? Oh my God, I have good connection.
Hello and welcome to the Teachers Room, the show that's by teachers for teachers. I'm Sean. This episode's topic is
Drilling is repetitive oral practice.
that means
Banana.
banana.
See, it focuses on accuracy and provides a model for students.
Exactly. Problem is it can be a bit boring and repetitive. So let's look at some ways to liven up drilling.
So the basic drill is a
I'm waiting for people who are watching. Let's give them the chance, okay, Mr. Isam and Mr. Yahya? What should we do? 2 minutes only. 2 more minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, have you watched it? Have you finished, guys? People who have good connection.
Miss.
Okay,
Miss
give me
Marwa.
notes about it. Give me notes. What are drills and what are kinds of drills according to the video and according to the post there? This is called again Padlet. It's a good digital
Yes, Miss
tool,
Marwa.
by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
All right.
Choral drill
Mm-hmm.
and individual drill,
Very good. Mm-hmm.
substitution drill,
Yeah, great.
transformation drill.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Miss Hiba. Was it Miss Hiba?
Miss Fat.
Yes, Miss.
Miss Fatma. Okay. Thank you so much, my dear colleague. Thank you so much. What's an individual drill? Who can tell me about
Yes,
it?
yes, Miss Marwa.
Okay, go ahead, but just introduce yourself because I don't see the names.
Miss Heba.
Okay, Miss Hiba.
In individual drill, one learner repeats which the word after the teacher.
Yeah, that's it. Like when we say, for example, grammar,
Yes,
they repeat after me, grammar. Okay.
yes,
A banana. They say just one learner, one of
banana.
my students, just one says banana. Okay. Individual drill. Drill is repetition. It's like repetition. It's mere repetition. Okay. What about choral drill?
Yes,
Yes, Miss
in
Marwa.
choral
Yes,
drill.
ma'am.
Miss Amira, go ahead.
Yes.
Uh, Choral when learners repeat the words as the whole class.
Very good. When the learners, the whole class repeats after the teacher. Mr. Abdelmanam, do you want to add something? Thank you, Miss Amira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Mar.
You're welcome. Mr. Abdelmanam, you are raising your hand, or any other people? Just unmute yourself and speak immediately because the names are not clear. Uh-huh. All right. What about substitution drill?
Yes, Miss.
Yeah,
Yes.
Samah.
Miss
Miss
Samah?
Samah? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. The teacher gives a sentence and a different word or phrases the learners must use in the same place. For example, if you go to Scotland, you will see a lot of castles.
Yeah.
Okay.
The teacher asked the students to replace this word, which is
Another
Scotland,
word.
for example, another word.
Yes.
If you go to Poland, you will see lots of sites, for example. Okay,
You go to
so
Scotland, you will see the launch list كذا. If you go to the Cairo, you will see كذا مثلا يعني. For
yeah,
example,
good. Yeah. If you go to Cairo, you will see the pyramids. If you go to Cairo, you will
you go
see the castle. If
the
you
tower. Tower.
if you go to Cairo, you will see the tower. So every
Yes.
time they say the same sentence and the same structure, the conditional, for
Substitution.
example.
Replace some words.
Yeah, very good. That's it. Without changing the structure. Okay. What about the transformation drill? Thank you very much, Miss Samah. What about the
Yes.
transformation
Yes.
drill?
Yes,
Yes.
Ms. Mar.
Yes.
Okay. Who is it?
Miss Amir,
Miss
okay?
Fat.
Miss Amira. Okay, Miss Amira.
A transformation changes the grammatical structure of the sentence which the teacher give it to the student.
Like what?
Like, for example, he goes to Alexandria, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Negative, and the student
Yeah.
changes the sentence to negative into negative.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. It has to do with grammar, and you have to change it from affirmative to negative, from a statement to a question, for example. Okay. Many kinds of drills, and in the video you watched, there were many other kinds of drills that are very interesting, right? Do you remember when, for example, I like my colleague Fatima, so I am a learner and I have two other learners. I will say the other colleague of mine will say like, the third one will say my colleague, the fourth one will say Fatima. Okay, like this, I like my colleague Fatima. 5 students say the same sentence. Okay, like this is a kind of drill. This is called the chain drill. And there is another, or as the split drill. This is also called the split drill. You split, you cut the sentence into two, and every person says a word like this in the same sequence, in a good sequence, having the good time when they are providing it. Okay, so there is another kind also of drills. For example, maybe I say Noha, they say Noha. Hate Noha, they say hate Noha. I hate Noha. I hate Noha. This is called back chaining, back chain drill, like a chain, but from the back, backward to forward. All right. There are many kinds of drills here, but what is known are those 4 ones. Is the drills clear?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something that you can use with it to extend it or even make it livelier and more interesting, which is, please mute yourselves, my dear colleagues, mute yourselves, please. Okay, so what you can do is you can, for example, in any activity that have drills, you can use silly voices, like you have, like the same way you have seen in the video. The native speakers were doing something which is very interesting. For example, I like Noha, or they were saying exactly, they were saying learning English rocks, learning English rocks. So they changed the voice. Maybe my dear learners, say this word sentence when you are feeling angry. So learning English rocks, I'm angry. I'm providing is with like an angry voice. Okay, when you are hot, learning English rocks certain way. Okay, when you are screaming, learning English rocks like this, using silly voices, the voice of a man, the voice of a woman, the voice of a cat, while repeating the statement or the sentence or the word. Got the picture? Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
So, Mr. Abdelmajid, you were raising your hand. Do you have any question about drills?
I wanted to understand what's the difference between number B and number C.
Okay, on the slide we have, there is a problem. This is a kind of a printed mistake. I made this mistake. That's why I sent you to the web page.
Miss, is
Okay,
drilling goes with all levels?
yeah, you can do it with all levels.
Does drilling,
Yeah, yeah, goes with all levels. But
what the meaning of repetition with secondary, what the meaning of repetition with secondary stage
just
students?
a minute, I will answer your question, but I want to provide our colleague with the correct script here of the titles. Mr. Abdelmajid, do you see the screen now? Okay.
Yes,
If you
doctor.
want to, yeah, if you, I'm just a teacher like you. I'm just a colleague of yours, by the way. I'm not a doctor. Okay. These are the titles for people who couldn't reach the website or the web page because of the bad connection. Here are the title, the kinds and the definitions of these 4 kinds of drills. Okay, this is one thing. For the question I had, what was the question? Because I forgot it. Oh yeah, yeah, I remembered
Okay,
it. I remembered
I
it.
talked
Yeah,
about the repetition of a choral drill or individual. Yeah.
yeah,
Somehow transformation can go with it works with secondary students. But what
yeah.
about the number 1 and number 2?
I will tell
Okay.
you. Of course, you know the answer. You have experienced it in every lesson. I guess about every lesson you practice the whole things. Number one, the individual drill. If I am teaching new vocabulary items, okay, and I get my students after I model. I explain the words and I present them and I use the teaching aids to explain the new vocabulary items, the new words, I mean, and I model the reading. So I tell them to repeat after me. Repeat after me. Theater, theater. So they repeat after me. The whole class repeats after me, even if they are in the secondary stage, because there are certain vocab that are difficult. and high
Mm.
level,
It's
right?
new for them. Oh, and not them. New
It's
for
for
them.
them.
Yes.
It's for them. Yeah, it's for them. It's for the young and for the adolescent and adult learners. Okay. Choral drill also. The choral drill and individual drill. You use them when you are teaching vocab, even when either with low level learners, primary stage for example, or in the primary and secondary stage students. Okay, this is with the teaching of a cap. But when
Yeah.
you are teaching grammar, in the secondary stage or even in the preparatory stage students, for them I mean, you can use substitution drill, transformation drill, other kinds of drills as you decide. You are the leader, and you're the person who is an expert in this. You know, whenever you need the substitution or the transformation or the individual, it depends actually on the content that you are teaching. Clear? Is
Yeah.
that clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Those have been the kinds of activities that we have been studying. Now we move on to activity types and the skills and sub skills that they practice. These activities practice and the uses of these activities. Let's move on to another area here. Just a minute. I'm trying to. I know that today we have studied lots and lots of kinds of activities actually, and this is intensive. The content itself is intensive, but you are brilliant. You're awesome. You are people who are experts in this. You can teach me about this because you have experienced this lots of times when you were teaching your students in certain content areas, practicing activities, that sort of thing. So just a minute, I'm here having the activity skills, types, sub skills. Can you see the slide, guys? Assure me. Just
Yes.
assure me you can see it. Yeah.
Yes, Miss Mara.
Okay. Thank Allah you can see it. Okay. Now, so we have like a table, and we have six types of activities: the puzzles, the word categories, the jumbled sentences, jigsaw reading, role play, find someone who. I guess we have explained this at large in the few from the very beginning actually of the session. We have been discussing all these kinds, okay, and which levels and which uses and which skills. Let's have a look at the skills and sub skills of every activity and the uses of every activity. Of course we have said that before, but okay, let's assure us and have more information about it. Okay, so puzzles, they practice which skills according to the table in front of your eyes. You can zoom in or zoom out to magnify this picture, by the way.
Miss Marwa, what's the
Marwa,
meaning of
this is in the box.
sub skills?
All right. Sometimes we have speaking. This is a skill that we know. The four essential or the four main skills that we have: the speaking, writing, reading, listening. Those are the four skills of the language. There are other sub skills that are like branches from the main skills, which are problem solving skills, criticizing skills, how to provide critical thinking. This is a skill. How to
Yeah.
solve problems. This is a skill. How to think in a critical way.
Like,
Yeah,
It's a
and
higher ranking skills. But
it's
the four
hard.
skills are essentials. Do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's it. That's it. The main skills are reading, writing, listening, speaking. Okay, that's what we know. There are other skills: the skill of thinking critically, the skill of problem solving, how to think of a puzzle and find the solution. I told you about this before when I was
Yeah.
trying to tell you that puzzle activity is an activity that practices the high order thinking skills. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I said it before and I clarified it at large when I was telling you about the hots and lots according to Bloom's
When you
taxonomy.
are studying
Mm.
Yeah,
lots
Bloom's
and
taxonomy.
lots.
Hots and lots. Yeah, the high order thinking skills, which are evaluating, analyzing, It's first, actually, number one is analyzing, number two is evaluating, number three is creating solutions. These are some skills. Evaluating, number one, analyzing the situation, analyzing the problem. Okay. Number two, evaluating the problem. We have a problem here. We have hypothesis. فرض الفروض. Do you remember about this before? Have you read about it before? فرض الفروض. Okay. Hypothesis. So finding solutions, creating solutions. This is problem solving skills. Okay. So puzzles are kinds of activities that practice this kind of skills and sub skills. So again, what are the uses of this activity according to the table here? Actually, this activity provides a context, I mean, a way or a chance or an opportunity for asking yes no questions. As I told you in the activity, we have done that. Okay. It can develop problem solving skill. We said that. Okay. What about word categories? It practices vocabulary, of course, because we have chords and words and that sort of thing. Reading, they read. Speaking, they speak and discuss and order the chords. Okay. What it is used for, this activity, what is this activity used for? It is used for checking or reviewing the understanding of vocabulary. Okay, it's all about vocabulary in the first place. Activating vocabulary before reading or listening activities. I may give them the chords, and my dear students, put the words that are about food together, because we are having a passage about food. Okay, like this. Is that clear, my dear colleagues?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, moving on to the jumbled sentences, which we have practiced and discussed at large. So it practices reading, speaking. Those are two skills, because students have to order the sentences or the words or the letters, that sort of thing. So they read, they speak, they have a discussion to find the correct answer. Okay, the words or the words on the cards or the sentences on the cards may be concentrating on grammar or in vocabulary, new vocabulary items, for example. Okay, what are jumbled activity or jumbled sentences used for? They are used for developing understanding of a text type. Okay, input knowledge, information, what a ranking activity is. Okay, you need an explanation for this. If you look at the booklet you have, the teacher or the author of the book has explained the steps of a ranking activity in the form of a jumbled sentences activity. I want you, after the session, inshallah, or in the coming few days, if you are trying to study the content of the session, have a look at it. He tried to give us input knowledge or information about what a jumbled sentence activity is, or sorry, what the ranking activity is in the form of sentences, and we have to order them like a jumbled sentence. Okay, so he's giving us information about a new activity in the form of another activity. All right. So this the jumbled sentences can be used to input knowledge or information, for example, about what a ranking activity is, like what he has done in the booklet you have. Okay. What about the jigsaw reading? We explained this at large, actually. It practices reading because they read, they speak in groups. Okay, if you remember, they speak and try to find and answer the questions that I gave them about certain paragraphs or centered parts of a text. They listen to their colleagues speaking in groups. So they listen and they speak and they read and they write the answers, على فكرة, by the way. Okay, they summarize the text by answering or providing the answer to these questions that I put them, that I gave to them. Okay, and it also practice vocabulary. Why? What it is used for? The jigsaw reading. It's used for developing oral communication skills. They speak and they discuss. Okay. They developed understanding of a text cohesion. They know how the text goes. speak about Cairo. It then moves on to speak about Sharm Sheikh. Then it is ordered in the way that it speaks about the activities in Cairo, then the activities in Sharm Sheikh, how the whole text goes. Okay, it can be used to input knowledge or information about drills, for example. So if I am explaining the kinds of drills to you, my dear colleagues, for example, I can put it like four. Every paragraph is on a kind of drill, and you have to read about it and answer some questions and discuss together. Okay, and I regroup you and I regroup you, so that we have new groups who have read about different kinds of drills and they share together and that sort of thing. Okay, do you remember when I explained this kind of activity, the jigsaw reading? Okay, are you following me?
Yes, miss. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Miss Marwa.
So we go on to read about role play and what the skills and sub skills. Find someone who the skills and sub skills. Is there any problem with this activity or the information in it? Do you find anything that it is difficult or needs elaboration or explanation? Just tell me. Is
No,
that
it's
clear?
clear. Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Thank you so much. So let's move on to another activity here. It's a bit different. We're going to complete the content of the module, which was actually intensive today. It needs to study. It needs you to study very well, because I have studied very well myself in order to come here and try to explain all this language area to you. Okay, all this content, and still we have lots of content still. Okay, so moving on, we have adapting activities or flexible activities. A very important topic again, but we will have a discussion together. So can you see the slide, guys? Assure
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank Allah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank Allah. Okay, what are the flexible activities? I need you to tell me what are the flexible activities. What's the meaning that comes to your mind when you hear this phrase, flexible activities? Think a little bit.
Uh, uh, are
Yes, Miss
those
Marwa.
activities that we can use with all students at different levels?
Okay. Yeah. Hi,
Yes,
baby, how are
miss.
you doing?
I
Yeah,
think
thank
that
you.
flexible activities
I,
that we can
Who's-
use with a lot of levels, different ages, different stages, different lessons, different
Yeah,
outcomes of learning.
very good. The same answer. Thank you very much. I agree with you. This is the same answer like Miss Wada just said. Okay.
I think it, I think
Uh,
it's different activities we use that deal with the different sub skills in the same time, and the main skills.
Okay, very good. I agree with you. This is one thing. Okay, one more thing. Very good. Does anyone have anything to add about flexible activities? Okay, very good. I agree with all of you. So we have to read these three statements. Now you read it, you read them, and these are like teacher comments on what are the flexible activities. Okay, read the three comments and tell me which one is the most favorite, your most favorite, or the most correct one according to your viewpoint, and why. So read the three and let's have discussion together. You have 2 minutes to read. Okay, go ahead. When you decide which one you agree with most, just tell me about the color. Is it the one in the green color, the one in the pink color, the one in the orange color? Like this, because this is easier to express your preferences. Maybe you agree with all of these Maybe you don't agree with any of these. Mr. Abdelmanem, you are raising your hand. Go ahead. Go ahead, my dear brother. If you have something to say, or maybe somebody else is raising his hand. Think before you
Okay,
speak.
Miss, I agree with all these colors.
Yeah, I agree with you
Hello?
actually, Mr. Yeah, thank you, Miss. Who was speaking now? Miss Huda, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Miss Huda. I know you from your voice actually. I don't see the name, but I know you from your voice. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Who was speaking? Mr. A male colleague of mine. Yeah, Mr. Abdelmanem or anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah,
Orange
go ahead.
and green. I agree with them.
Yeah, Mr. Abdelmanem
Orange.
agrees. Yeah, okay. Agree and orange. Okay, sorry, green and orange. Yeah, thank you so much. What about the others? What about the others, my dear colleagues? What's your opinion
Yes,
about
Miss
them?
Marwa.
Okay, Miss Huda?
I agree with him.
Yes, I agree with all boxes.
Mm-hmm. Miss Samah
Yes.
agrees with the orange one, and Miss Hiba agrees with all of these statements. Let's read them together. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Miss Hiba.
Select.
Sorry, who is
Yes.
speaking? Mhm. Okay, mute yourselves if you don't have to say something. You don't have anything to say, just mute yourselves. Okay, let's read them. The first one is flexible activities that we can adapt to use with various levels and different ages are essential when we have limited resources and large groups. Please mute yourselves because we have lots of background noise, okay? All right, thank you. So, flexible activities that we can use, that we can adapt to use with various levels and different ages are essential when we have limited resources and large groups. So, this statement says that when we have different levels, high level learners, low level learners, people who are weak, people who are high achievers, different ages, he means young, adult, babies who are speaking. Babies are speaking. Hello. Stop it. Mute yourselves. Okay. So these activities that can be used with different levels and different ages are essential. They are important. They are flexible. And sometimes we have limited resources. We don't have much time. We don't have much space. We don't have much resources, supplies, everything. Okay. So we need certain activities to suit the learning outcomes, but with these specific circumstances, the levels of my learners, the ages, the resources, the large groups of my students. Okay, so I agree with the green, the orange one, of course. What about the pink one? Let's read it together. We need activities to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing that we can use with all our classes. Of course, this is true. Who disagrees with this statement so that he can unmute himself or herself and tell us why to disagree with this statement? Whoever disagrees with the pink one, tell us, please. Mhm. People who don't have to explain their opinion, just mute yourselves, please. Do you have anything? Or you agree with it? And speak. Go ahead. I don't hear anything. I just hear somebody who is speaking to others. Please mute yourselves. People who want to speak. Yeah, bad connection. All right, I'll mute you myself. Okay. Mr. Abdul Majid, Mr. Abdul Manaim is raising his hand. Okay. Mr. Abdul Manaim, go ahead if you have something to add. I'll share it again, don't worry. So you don't have something to say, Mr. Abdelmajid?
I agree with this sentence. We need activities to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing that we
Mhm.
can use with all our class.
And I agree
To
with you.
achieve, uh,
Mhm.
to get fed, to get
That's
التغذية
it.
المرتجعة feedbacking
Yeah. Okay.
back.
Very good. I agree with you, actually. I agree with you. Yeah, we need activities to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Yeah, we need them all. Why not? Of course, we need them. What else we can use to express the different skills that we have? Okay,
Miss,
thank you so much.
or
Thank
or these skill so activities realistic? What are these skill activities?
the activities that we have studied all over the session and others that we
I
will do.
mean that an activity that go with all skills, listening, reading. Okay, the one that you
Okay,
have mentioned. Mm.
okay. What about the jigsaw reading? Don't you make your
Mm.
students work in groups and
Yes,
discuss
yes.
so they speak? Don't you make them
Oh, okay.
read the paragraphs?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you make them listen to each other when they are trying to find answers to the questions that I provided them with? The four
Oh,
skills,
it's
actually.
perfect. In fact, oh, it's perfect for
Yeah,
all these skills. Yes, it's covered. Yeah.
and you can
Okay.
adapt it. If there is an activity that doesn't practice certain skill, you can adapt it and, for example, add a certain step to it that make it practice this. For example, if it's not using the working in groups, why don't you divide your students while they are doing this activity? Why don't you divide them into groups and they practice speaking and discussion together? Okay, together with the
Mm.
same steps or the main steps of the exercise. This is why these exercises or activities are called flexible. You can adapt to them,
Yes.
you can change, you can modify in order to suit your learners needs and the objectives and the skills and the areas, okay, and the grammar, the vocab, everything, the resources, the time you have, the levels, the ages, everything. So these are called flexible activities that you can change, you can modify, you can adjust to suit everything. Okay. The third one
Miss Mar-
is, thank you very much. Who is it?
Miss Fat,
Okay, Miss Fatma, go ahead.
I think is activity of find someone who squares is an activity that uses four skills.
Yeah, also, yeah, it's also very good, very good. I wanted to say it, but because we are limited in time, so I didn't just provide lots and lots of illustration. And I thought that you will conclude this while you are trying to study or review the content later on of this module, because find someone who is really versatile. You can use it to practice the four skills at once. They speak, they listen, they read, they write, they discuss, they study vocab, they study the tenses, all the tenses. I told you about this before. Please concentrate on this and don't forget about find someone who in your classes. It's important. So thank you so much, Miss Fatma. Let's move on to the green one, storytelling and dictation techniques, as well as songs and poems, can be used with all ages and levels in the English classrooms. Again, we have storytelling. This is an activity. We have dictation, like dictoclass. Okay, they are actually flexible. You can use them with ages, different levels in your classroom. So all the comments of the teachers here are true. Okay, yeah, flexible activities can practice all kinds or most of the kinds of activities, language areas. We need them, they are essential. They can be adapted, everything like this. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay,
Yes,
let's
Miss
move on
Clear.
to okay, let's move on to some activities and how to adapt to them. Well, I have four examples of activities who are flexible activities. I mean, that you can adapt to suit the levels and different ages and the limited resources and large groups and time and everything. Okay, so give me a second. I will share the slide here. How to adapt the activities or the flexible activities that we have here. We have 4 ones. We can adapt them in order and change them. Adapt means change. You can change them. You can add changes to them so that they suit. We have dictogloss and we have studied it before, but no problem if we have a look at it. All right. So here is again the dictogloss, okay, that we have just explained it. We have explained it at large. How I want you again, and I'm sure you have read it before, but no problem, read it again and answer this question. How could you adapt the dictogloss activity for lower levels? How could you adapt the dictogloss activity for lower levels? Look through the ideas here, the information on the slide, and try to answer this question. You think and I'll think, and we discuss together. How to change it, how to adapt it, how to modify it for to suit lower learners, weak learners, I mean, lower levels. I mean, weak learners, primary students, that sort of thing. Remember that dictation is that dictogloss is a dictation. You say, I'll remind you about it again. You say a couple of statements or a very short paragraph. They have to listen to it first and just listen. They don't write anything. You say it again. You read it aloud again, and they take notes or write some words. Okay. They work in groups later on to reconstruct the text. Of course, this is high level for students. Why? What about lower level? The primary.
Miss.
Miss Samah, go ahead.
Yes, I can dictate to the lower students a very simple sentence on the board.
This is listening. You have to say it.
Dictate them. I can dictate them. He listen me. The student will listen me. I repeat the sentence and he write it on the board. A very simple sentence.
What's the difference if he writes it down using a paper in his notebook while he is sitting or while he is on the board? Does it make any difference for it? Yeah, for him, it makes a difference.
Correct.
It's a simple, okay, a simple content, a simple statement, a very simple. Okay, what else can we do? Any other guesses or ideas? Thank you, Ms. Samah. Thank you very much. What if you give them a copy of the text, okay, with the chunks missing, yeah, 2 words missing or a phrase missing, and they just focus on those bits, like the listening activity that they have in the primer stages, okay? In the general education, they have listening, right? They have to listen to the teacher and write the missing or fill in the missing blanks. They have to just write 1 or 2 words. So this is easy for them rather than reconstructing the whole text. So that's it. That's the idea. The same activity, but with a change, a modification, and
Answering questions.
Sorry?
Answering short questions. Yeah. Instead of reconstructing the text or giving the words in their own, they can answer short questions.
Very good, a very good idea. But beware that the questions are short and the answer for these questions just answering using a word or 2 words, okay? Because they are low learners.
Specific. Answer
Yeah.
is specific. Okay.
1 or 2 words. The answer is just 1 or 2 words, so that they don't write much because they will not be able to write too much. Okay? They are lower
Because
level.
they can't construct sentences.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much. So let's move on to another activity and one of the flexible activities that we have, and read about it, remember about it, and answer some questions about how to adapt this activity. So the coming one is songs and poems. We haven't discussed it during this session in the first place, so maybe we will discuss it now. I've already provided you with a video on songs on the WhatsApp group. So songs, just a minute, I'll bring it. Okay, songs and poems. Songs with the younger and poems with the older. That's it. Can you see the slide, my dear colleagues? Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Miss
Yes,
Marwa.
Miss Marwa.
Okay. Let's read through the songs and poems activity. Let's know about it. Read about the tips, the advice, the basis of advice of how to use it, and answer this question: how could you use songs with younger learners? How could you use songs with younger learners? So we have to read about songs and poems in our classes first. Songs or poems are usually very memorable and good fun. Of course, you know about it. Okay, they can be used with older learners as well as the children. Of course, we all know about it. Okay, what are the steps? The teacher can ask the learners to listen for specific words of maybe new vocab, okay, or grammatical structures, maybe new grammar, new grammatical structures, new tense for today, etc. Then the learners can learn a song or a poem that have this content, okay, that have the content that I'm teaching for today. They complete the gaps, maybe, or discuss the theme, the topic of the song together, and maybe write a story in their own words about the content, maybe. This is another idea. So some pieces of advice of using songs and poems in our classes is that you should find out what songs your learners like, but you have to check that the words are suitable. Don't go and bring us an emotional song and oh my beloved, I miss you, my beloved. This is not educational. You have to be aware to be well aware of the content of the song, or maybe they have in the syllabus certain poem. I guess that secondary stage students, they have in the syllabus some poems,
Poem.
okay,
Yeah.
educational content, like the wind does like this and the river does like this and the sun does like this and that sort of thing. I guess you all know because you are teachers. Okay, somebody has raised in his hand, who raised his hand, who have raised his hand or her hand. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Abdul Majid,
Yeah, Mr. Abdul Majid. Okay, go ahead.
what can I do
Mm-hmm.
if I can't make songs or poems?
If you can't make songs, what?
Songs and poems.
You
How?
can't
How I give them?
you can't use them?
I can't get them.
You can get the content itself. Okay, if you surf the internet actually is full of these issues and content. Lots and lots of educational songs about colors, like green, red, and I have provided you with a video on the WhatsApp group. The teacher, the native speaker, and this a teacher, a native speaker who is a teacher, he was trying to apply this in his classroom with young learners. He was having a song about colors, rainbow, rainbow, like this. Okay, and when he is playing this audio or this even video to the students, and they listen to it, and later on they act it out, and they sing along, they sing with the song, I mean. So even whenever he finds a certain difficult word, he stops and clarifies it, and models it and teaches it to the students. He clarifies the meaning of the word and again plays it again and again. So it's fun. They learn by songs, by repeating the songs and singing along together and acting and making movements like this. This is very enjoyable and fun, and this is memorable because they sing and they love songs. It's interesting. So how could you use songs with younger learners? We need the adaptation. How to adapt songs with my younger learners.
Okay, I think that younger learners learn best through songs, and I know some children who are perfect in English through repeating
Yeah,
songs.
yeah, that's it. Actually,
And
yeah. Hmm.
yes,
Okay, very.
some centers, in fact, learn language through songs, especially with little kids.
Yeah, that's it. Most of them actually, they do this because there are lots and lots of educational songs on the internet and everywhere actually. They are everywhere. Don't worry, you will find them. So, younger learners enjoy singing along to songs. Singing along to songs means that they love to sing with the song while it is played. Okay, they want to sing the song, they want to learn about it. So while they are trying to sing the song, so they learn the items in it, the vocab, the structure, maybe the items in it. Okay, and they love to do actions. This is the adaptation. Get them to act the song, get them to act it out. Okay, so they sing along together. I mean, they sing together with the song and they learn the new items and they do action, they act them out. This is very interesting and this is the adaptation. Songs inside my class. Okay, there are many songs. Actually, there are many songs on the internet. They are educational and they are suitable for the content that you are actually teaching. If you are teaching colors, just type in the search engine a song about colors or color song. You will find the song which is called Rainbow. I remember Rainbow. This is the one I put. This is the one in the video that I brought you on the WhatsApp group. Okay, please. I have to assure you that you have to watch the videos again and again, many times, because they are very beneficial. They have the application of these activities inside your classes. Okay, let's move on to another flexible activity and how we can adapt it to suit different levels, different students, ages. All right. Mr. Abdelmanam, you are raising your hand. Do you want to add something or are you just raising it? You haven't lowered your hand. If you have something to say, just go ahead. I'm here. I'm listening to you. So we have, okay.
Miss.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Abdelmanam. Okay, I hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, Mister.
Yeah. Just I wanted to share before, but it's okay. Just I wanted to say that the songs are attracting the attention of the pupils and the students.
Very much, actually. It's very interesting. I agree with you. So using it is very attractive. They integrate learners. People who are not interested can share and sing. Okay, it's very interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdelmanem. So now we have something which is a bit different. We haven't studied today, vanishing dialogues. What are the vanishing dialogues? How to use them? I have a video. Okay, I have a video having the vanishing dialogue and how to use them. But do you have a connection, a good connection, so that we can watch it, or maybe you watch it on the WhatsApp group? It's there on the WhatsApp group also. What are your suggestions? What do you suggest? Should you go?
I have watched it.
You have watched it. How do we apply vanishing dialogues inside our classrooms? Of course, they are dialogues.
Okay, miss. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I applied this activity in the class, like complete the dialogue, uh, write the missing parts of the dialogue. It's very important. It's very easy.
Very good. Thank you so much. Very good. What else? Who can explain the way how we can apply this inside our classes?
First, we start by building a conversation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we form the conversation together. We may draw two faces on the board, and I and together with the learners, we can invent names for the faces, and we can form the dialogue. Okay, it has to be
Yes,
again a real situation. What else? What are
we can drill it with the students
very good?
to make sure of the pronunciation.
Very good. So like a model. Yeah, we model the
Yes,
dialogue
then
through telling. They repeat after us. Yeah.
then we can start by deleting some words only
Very
and
good.
ask students try to complete the missing words.
They repeat the whole dialogue again, but completing the word, the missing word. Very good. What else?
Yes, Miss.
We can then we delete some more words
Yeah,
and
of course.
phrases and ask students again to read the dialogue and try to complete the missing phrases or words.
Excellent. They just, when I remove the phrases, they just drill it. They repeat the whole dialogue with the phrases, but they just, when they are drilling, when they are providing the dialogue through speaking, they just fill in the phrases that I have removed. Okay. They drill it. They say it as a whole. Okay. Very good. What
Okay.
else?
Yes.
They
We can at last we can remove the whole dialogue and only keep the first letter of each dialogue of each
excellent.
sentence and ask
Excellent.
students to repeat the whole dialogue.
Very good. That's it. That's it. That's the vanishing dialogue. So it's a dialogue which vanishes, and they repeat and they repeat. I remove the words. They repeat it. They remember it, and they complete it while they are drilling it. They are repeating after. They are not repeating after me. They say it. Okay. So first we form the dialogue, the conversation. I write it on the board. Okay. They repeat after me. They read it together. They may dramatize it. By the way, they may act the role play because this is again a role play. Okay. So I remove some words and they say the whole conversation through their memory. They remember. Okay. I remove more and more words, phrases, and they say it as a whole again. I remove the whole conversation and they say it as a whole again from their memory again. Okay. Later on, they may write it. They may fill in spaces, written dialogue and having some spaces and they fill in. They may act this role play because this is also a dialogue and this is role play. Okay, lots and lots of ideas. So try to answer these two questions. How could you make the vanishing dialogue activity livelier and more interesting for young learners? When you have young learners, how could you do this? And how could you extend the vanishing dialogue activity? I have answered this. The extension is to ask them to write and that sort of thing. How could we adapt this flexible activity to suit my young learners? How? In what way? What to do?
Okay,
This,
Miss. I
yeah, go
can
ahead.
make
Yes.
I can act a very short dialogue between two characters. The dialogue between the father and the son.
Very good. That's it. They can act them out. They just the learners could create their own similar dialogues. They may create their own. Sorry, no. This is how to extend the dialogue, but how to use it for young learners. I said it
Yes.
during the module.
Okay, Miss.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Go
Marwa.
ahead.
We can
Okay.
we can use tele voices, just you said before.
Excellent. I said it before. Yeah, excellent. Silly voices. It's a kind of drill. And whenever you do a drill in any activity that has drill, you can use silly voices because they are young and they get interested in it. Okay, it's enjoyable for them. Thank you very much. Let's what about extending the vanishing dialogue? You can ask them to act it out or even write similar dialogues. Okay, please, my dear colleagues, just mute yourselves because there are lots of background noise. Mute yourself. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to another activity here, which is mind maps. Mind maps. What are mind maps? I'll show you. What are mind mapping? It's similar to brainstorming. I'll show you the shape of how to form mind mapping. All right, mind map. How to create a mind map? Look at the slide. It's like this. It's like this. The title in the middle, okay? The thing that we are the topic we are going to speak about, and then there are branches, there are classifications, okay? And there are sub branches, subcategories related to the content. And so mind maps and spider diagrams are organized in a way that shows groupings or relationships between the words. They can be used to review or organize vocabulary and are often used as a tool in planning stage for writing exercises, as learners can structure ideas and discuss how they are related. So, for example, if I am telling you to speak about practice activities, so you will write in the middle, like the picture on the slide, okay? Practice activities. So category A, the activities that practice speaking. Category B, the activities that practice listening. Please, my dear colleagues, mute yourselves. Mute yourselves, Mr. I don't know. Who is it? Mr. Okay. Category B, you write about this, the activities that practice reading. Category C, you read about you write sorry about the activities that practice listening, etc. These are branches. And again, we have from each branch or from each category, we have subcategories. So the activities that practice listening, some of them are done, for example, using drills. Some of them, مثلا, for example, use cards. Some of them use drawing and colors and that sort of thing. So you just go from the main idea to categories, to subcategories and other branches, and you have like groups, relationships, classifications. Okay, we can do this activity before writing about something. We will write about certain topic, so I have to like brainstorming. It's like brainstorming, but in this way, it's formed in like the same way, spider diagram or a mind map. It's like a map or a diagram, spider. Okay, is this kind of activity clear? I guess you know about it. You
Yes,
already.
miss. Yes,
Yes.
miss.
Okay, I'll ask you again, where in which stage do you use it? Before what? I've just said it. Before before which activity? Before which task?
Writing.
Writing a
Very,
paragraph.
very good. That's it. Very good. Thank you very much. It's like brainstorming, but it's better used before the writing tasks. Excellent. So let's move on to another uh, task here because time is very limited and we're running out of time. I know that you have commitments, you have things to do. Okay, we're about to finish. Don't worry. So now I want you to have an assignment. You have an assignment now. You have a post session task that I will be expecting from you in the coming few days, inshallah. You have to think about your learners' needs in terms of language skills. I mean, think about the needs of your learners, the language areas they need, the skills that they need. Okay, think of the need or some needs of your learners. And number two, rewrite the needs as learning outcomes. This need that you have thought of, okay, write it as a learning outcome. All right. Number three, choose an activity type which will help your learners achieve the outcomes that you have just written. Okay, which activity I will use to achieve this outcome, to meet the requirement and the needs of my learners. You will write about the activity. Number four, make some notes on how you would use the activity with your learners. So your post session task, inshallah, is going to be write about your learners' needs. This is number one. Number two, you write the need as a learning outcome, okay, in the form of learning outcome. Then you write the activity type that you have chosen to meet the learning outcome. Yeah. Okay. Then you give me some details about the activity, type that will meet the learner's needs or the learning objectives. And I will show you one that is made. Just a minute. I will show you one that is, it's like a mini plan. It's not a complete plan, just a mini plan, because it's not very big compared with the lesson plan. Here is one. You have a look at it. Look at the slide on the screen. So here I will clarify how to plan for practice. So the teacher here wrote about the learner's needs. He says that, or he writes that his learners are reluctant to speak. They don't want to speak. So he needs motivational activities that will get them speaking. Okay, this is the need. Okay, what is the outcome? The learning outcomes. The learners will be more confident and fluent speakers, as they will have had multiple opportunities to speak and practice their English. This is the outcome. Okay, what is the type that he will use? He chose the role play, and he writes here that role play is a good choice, but on a topic which interests them and which is related to the real world. It's important that role play has to do with the real world, to be more lively, okay, and to be more integrating to my students, okay. Activity details. He will explain the details of the activity. A good situation would be a parent and a child. The parent complaining about spending too much time on the computer. And he goes on to create the rule cards. We're giving you the examples. So this is the mini plan that I want you to do okay, this is the one I want you to prepare an example like this and post it on the WhatsApp group. I expect this from you in the coming few days. All right. Is the task clear? Is the assignment clear?
Yes, Miss Mar.
Okay.
Yes.
Inshallah, it's easy, and you have an example or a model in front of your eyes. You have it, and I will put it on the WhatsApp group. I will put the whole presentation on the WhatsApp group, and you have the videos, and you have to read about the content of the module, study it very well, and watch the videos many times in order to be well acquainted with the steps of every activity. Because actually today we discussed lots and a huge number of activities. I hope that you have understood them all. And I am here also on the WhatsApp anytime if you need any help to maybe you need me to clarify again or explain again the kind of activity you didn't have the whole picture of, okay, through the session. So now I want you to provide some kind of reflection. Reflect on the content of the module. What did you understand from the, write in the chat box. What did you understand from this session? This is the last step here in the module. Okay, so this is reflection. What's reflection? Reflection is that you give me idea, or let me know about what you learned from this module. What activities did you learn? Anything that you have learned today, write in the chat box. Okay, this is the last step here in the module. This is again end of our. Write in the chat box. Tell me about something that you have learned from the module, from this session. You may tell me about also the things that you didn't understand. If you have questions, provide me in the chat box. Okay, write them in the chat box. And I want you to reread the learning outcomes of this module and tell me if the learning outcomes have been met. Okay? Did we achieve the learning outcomes of the module? Are they met? Did you understand every point that I clarified? Do you have any questions? I want you to write all these ideas or all these items in the chat box, please, now. I'm waiting for you. Don't worry, this is the end of the session, so no more explanation. The techniques and activities. Okay, I'll go to the chat box to read. Okay, the techniques and activities that are used in the classroom. Okay, Mr. Abdelmanem, thank you very much. I hope you understood them all and found them very enjoyable and fun. Just tell me about one thing you understood. Tell me about what are the areas that you didn't understand, so that I may provide you with videos, more videos on the WhatsApp, some more clarification. I can give you a hand, Mr. Abdelmanem. Some activities like brainstorming, mind mapping. Very good. Thank you very much. I understand what we said. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Heba. Okay. Miss Amira and Mr. Mah are typing something. Okay. If you have any questions for today, just type them in the chat box. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer any questions. I'm ready to answer any questions of you. And again, dictogloss, I will try. Okay, Miss Amira, I will try it too. Okay, because it seems enjoyable. It is very enjoyable. Mr. Abdelmanem, it is well done. You achieved the module outcomes. Thank you very much. I hope so. With the help and support of Allah and with you were actually awesome today. The different activities and how to use them. Thank you very much, Mr. Mah. Thank you very much. I hope so. And I have to tell you that the module needs more study. It needs that you study and watch videos, okay? And make the assignment. Don't forget. We use most of them in our classroom, but we didn't know the names of them before this session. Thank you for gorgeous way. Thank you, Miss Sama. I guess this is Miss Ines, right? Thank you very much. Mr. Yahya, may Allah bless you. May Allah bless you all. May Allah bless you all, my dear colleagues, my dear brothers and sisters. If you have any question, just type in the chat box. I'm ready to answer any question. By the way, the coming session, inshallah, which is discussing the first module, it will mostly be on the week next, the week after the next. Okay, it will be on the week in the week after the next week. All right. Thanks a lot. You are welcome, Mr. Abdelmanan. Miss Hiba, I will try to make these strategies in the classroom. I hope so. Allah be with you. Okay, I will try myself also. Okay, thank you very much for your great effort with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Meh. That's really generous of you and thoughtful of you. You are my dear colleagues, my dear brothers and sisters. I'm just a fellow teacher, a fellow colleague of yours. Thank Allah it went well today. Alhamdulillah. There was actually a bad connection, but Allah helped us a lot. Alhamdulillah. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Ayman. Okay, so this is, let me share something here. This is, of course, the end of my session. This is the end of our session today. Best of luck. You rock, Mr. Ayman, wallah, you rock. By Allah, I swear by Allah, you rock. Thank you very much. You all rock. Thank you very much. So for more information, have a look at the websites and reading section in your booklets. There is something which is, when will it, the next session be? Okay, it will be the week after the next week. Okay, yani it's not the next week, but the week after it. Okay, and I will tell you about it, inshallah, on the WhatsApp group. Don't worry. Okay, so this is the end of the session. Have a nice time. I'm sorry, I know today that it has been a very long session, but and the coming sessions will be like this. You have to know this. 3 hours also, again 3 hours. Okay, so take care and Allah bless you all. Thank you very much for your participation, active participation today. You helped me a lot, and I hope you have fun and you found it helpful and benefitful and enjoyable at the same time. Thank you very much and take care. I will just stop the recording. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. I'll stop the recording.